Go in it.
I never know when you're actually live, apart from where it says you're
Well, it says
live.
you're live. That's good enough for me.
You think that's good?
It's good enough for me. And you're not blurry this time.
Welcome to part 6 of Paul's Essen Diary 2021. Let us know in the chat if you can hear us and see us okay. Hopefully you can. And hopefully the hotel Wi-Fi isn't going to disconnect me tonight.
Well, no, my hotel Wi-Fi is considerably better than your Premier Inn, although...
It was pretty good for free Wi-Fi.
Yeah, fair enough. Although, what microphone are we using here?
We're using that camera.
Oh, right. Yeah, definitely let us know if the audio is any good. Webcam's not usually to be trusted with audio.
Yeah. So instead of using the built-in laptop microphone, I borrowed one of Luke's webcams, and we're using that. So AV is okay. Brilliant. Thank you very much for.
It says AV okay, so I'm assuming audio visual.
Audio visual is okay.
To be fair, it's a vlog. We're not doing like stellar quality here. So
how was dinner? What did we end up having?
Didn't have it. Dinner.
We've not really had dinner. We've just been nibbling sandwiches all of the way home and various other treats. And I just had the pastry that I bought at 8 o'clock this morning from the train station.
That was from 8 o'clock this morning. I thought you just bought that from the co-op.
No. That was from 8 o'clock this morning.
No, we've had a sandwich meal where possible. I've had the occasional coffee to make up for last night's wedding party thing that gave me only 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
And I've nicked most of Paul's golden cream biscuits. And that's about it.
Yeah. Ben's asking what happened to the end of part 5. So on the channel, it should be on the channel. Part 5B is the second half of the video from yesterday, where I basically spent 20 minutes trying to work out what I'd said in the previous 20 minutes that never went out. Did I eat all of the Stroop waffles? So I got given a couple of Stroop waffles today. They got consumed. I did get given a couple of Stroop waffles earlier in the week, which have been consumed. But the big pack of Stroop waffles from Jerome, none of them have been consumed.
Have you got them on you?
No. Yes.
I'll go check.
Don't tell him.
I'll go check.
I do have a whole pack of Stroop waffles.
I was allowed one Stroop waffle as a pity vote. It was a pity Stroop waffle because it's like I've got to drive for 8 hours with only 3 hours sleep, and I got a pity waffle.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, it still tasted good, but yeah, it was a pity Stroop waffle.
So I've had the easy job today. I've sat in the car
and kept me company
and tried to keep Luke company with disagreeing with him on games.
Not that much of it.
No, but you've driven us all the way, so thank you very much. Driving us.
You kept me awake, yes. I mean,
yeah.
I would have struggled if it was just me in the car with nothing to stimulate the brain. But
yeah.
The first part of that journey and that kind of just flew by because I was like, oh, we're already at France.
Yeah.
Mainly because we were talking so much that I don't have time for my brain to fall asleep.
Yeah.
And the time just flies by. So
job done. Because
maybe you need to come with me on the journey next year. Like not go with your mate in his van and get stuck in customs.
Yeah.
Because you travel with me. No hitch ups. We got here early.
we got here early. We got on the tunnel early, and there were pretty much no problems all the way through. So, the biggest thing that I felt when we arrived back in England, we drove off the shuttle, there was this immediate sense of relief because ever since last Monday when we arrived at the freight tunnel thing,
pretty much from border onwards.
Yeah, and we didn't have the right paperwork. Since then, I've had 6 days of, have I got the right piece of paperwork? Now, normally, I'm happy to get on a train, buy a train ticket. Have I got a train ticket? Yes, I've got a train ticket. That's fine. That's normal stuff. But it's been 6 days of, everywhere you go, I got to show this pass. And half of this is my fault. I should have printed stuff out because every day I was like, oh, what do you need? You need that, right? Scroll. Where is it? Open the file. Oh, my phone's crashed. Open the file. That one. Then I've got to walk through another door when they want another pass. Scroll. Fine. If I'd just printed them out, it would have been a lot easier.
To be fair, your phone is ancient.
My phone is ancient. Yes.
It's in my download files. I got to pull up. It wasn't too bad. It was a PDF file. But yeah, the amount of times of I thought, I've got to pay to get this NHS COVID pass converted. It's like it's a waste of 30 euros. Had to show it at the border before I even crossed the channel into France. Have to show it in every single cafe and restaurant I went into in Essen. Had to show it twice over at the convention.
We can understand that.
Oh yeah, I mean, they want to be safe, fine, but it's like I got my money's worth out of that conversion.
I think last night was Saturday night in Essen. The convention's almost at an end, and I spent an hour having to fill in all of these passenger locator forms. And again, the nervousness of if I fill this in wrong, we're not going to get back home. And then I'd filled in the form and I had to give my passport details, my inside leg measurement. I had to give all of this information.
It was all important information.
Yeah. And then they said, oh, you've got to attach your COVID pass. And I'm like, right, well, I don't have my COVID pass as a PDF. I've only got it as the app.
Yeah.
So I then had to
screenshot,
find my NHS login in order to log back in to get the PDF to attach to the passenger locator form. And I'm right, I've done it. And then about midnight, Luke mails me, you've got to fill in another form for the Eurotunnel.
Yeah, you basically had to fill in one big giant thing for the Eurotunnel that had API information, which is why I asked you for all your details. So that was easy. But
and then it wanted the passenger locator form that I filled in
from both of us.
So I then had to send that to Luke
as a PDF attachment, which already had the NHS stuff. And believe me, trying to do it on my mobile phone at 2 o'clock in the morning, practically like midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, when I'm like unable to get to sleep because I'm 50 foot away from a DJ speaker. It's like, you know what? This is really aggravating. But yeah. And then we get back and we drive straight here, go into a co-op, walk straight in. Nobody checks a thing.
Buy food. And that's the thing. I'm not complaining about any of this stuff. I know this stuff is needed for safety. I'm just saying the amount of sort of nervousness and anxiety of everywhere you go, have I got the right paperwork? Have I got the right form and everything else? And as soon as we arrived in the UK, all gone. You know, I can now, well, I said that, although Vicky says she's going to check my pass when I go back home. So
how do you mean?
It's new rules that Gaming Rules HQ is apparently, while I've been away, there are now new rules and restrictions for Gaming Rules HQ that I now need to show a valid pass in order to get back into my own house.
What?
You know what Vicky's like. I was
going to say, this is Vicky.
This is not Vicky.
This is not Vicky. Is not law. All right.
I think you'll find.
Maybe for you, she's not for me. Right.
I think you'll find she is. So anyway, we're back in the UK. Luke is putting me up for tonight, and then I will be getting the train back tomorrow. So I should be arriving back home.
Speak of the devil.
Yeah, I should be arriving back home about 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, and then that will be the end of my Essen journey. Although I've then got to unpack.
I've got the same stuff downstairs. I mean, that's not happening till Monday evening. I've had to clear. I still had games on my lounge floor from previous game club nights where I've gone home, gone straight to bed because it's late, and then not had time to unpack the things. I've had to move them out your way. So I've got plenty enough games to sort out on the shelf, and that's before I get to the Essen stuff.
Yeah. So what have we done today?
Drive a lot.
Well, but before that, we spent the first 4 hours at the fair. So I did another hour demoing for CGE Under Falling Skies. Did a couple more demos this morning, which again really enjoyed them. Then I had a meeting with somebody about a game I can't talk about. Then I had another meeting with a Greek fulfillment center. And I wasn't quite sure when he gave me his business card and it said, we deal with fulfillment, shipping, logistics, this, that, and the other. He wanted to talk to me. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What's any of that got to do with me? But I had a chat with him for 10 or 15 minutes. Then I just wandered around and said hello to a few more people. I thought about possibly, because I had space for another couple of games. So I went by the stand for Gutenberg, but they'd sold out. So I'm going to contact them later. And then we went to go. The last thing we went to see was Cordoba.
They were sold out since Saturday morning. That's when I had my demo with them, and they sold out then.
So we went back into Hall 2 and we saw the Cordoba
23 AC,
whatever that
makes no sense to me.
Which isn't available yet. They had copies there only for playing, and it's going on Kickstarter like next month or something like that. So we had a quick look at it. I had a chat with them, and I said I'd contact them next week. Oh, and
bye, Michelle.
I had a chat this morning with who did I chat with? Oh no, that was yesterday. Yesterday was Tim Dyer.
If it's got a number in the name, yes, it certainly does drive me up the wall. But generic name. But it was also the fact that I didn't know what AC meant.
Which we now know. We've now learned something. AC is the.
Do you remember?
It's after Christ.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't AC.
No.
No, it's before Christ. But in Spanish, before the word before starts with the letter A.
Yeah.
So 27 AC is actually BC.
Like we had to have a Spanish person on the live stream tell us this.
Which is great. I feel more
enlightened.
Knowledgeable.
I'm enlightened, but don't make your game titles confusing.
So I've picked up a load of games. Most of them you saw in part 2. Yeah, part 1 was all about my travel. Part 2, that's most of the games I've picked up. I've only picked up about 2-3 games maybe since then. You've got all of the games you picked up, you've got with you now.
Yeah.
Whereas
with the one exception of Picture Perfect, which is on order because they ran out. Well, they didn't get their English stock in.
Yeah.
So that's up a website. And if I do get any more games, whether they're reviewable or not, I hopefully will get a couple from Board and Dice once they finish post show. But yeah, majority of them are downstairs, and God help me.
Yeah. So I've got a suitcase filled with some of the big ones: Golem, Messina, Bitoku, and Arc Nova. The rest of them are in Dan's van. There we go.
AC equals Auntie
Latin. There you go. I was almost right.
Such a useful language.
Yeah. So the rest of my games are with Dan in the van, but I have approximately 8 or 9 games that I'm going to be picking up post-show. So Hippocrates and Stroganoff from Game Brewer, they said they'll send me them later. The games from Board and Dice, even though they were right there in front of me, they said, look, Paul, it's easier if we send them to you later. And I'm like,
how?
I still don't understand how, especially with UK rules now, how it's easier for them to send them to me later.
Yeah, it's weird, but I mean, it was the same arrangement last year with them. So it's like, fine, if that's cheaper for them somehow, that's by economic standard, then go for it.
Yeah, Gutenberg, I'm going to be requesting a copy of that later on. And there was a couple of other ones that I've now forgotten. How could I forget? Boom Lake and Imperial Steam from Capstone Games. Hopefully Clay's
Boom Lake would be a better title.
Yeah. Boom. So the games that I've got from Essen are not all of the games that I will have brought back from this Essen. Some of them will be arriving over the next month or so.
Like that. How was today's travel? Actually, surprisingly good.
Yeah.
You know, Paul got to sleep for part of the journey, and I just left him to it when that happened. So I just couldn't put the music on, so I'm sort of just there. So
it wasn't long. It was what, half hour maybe, something.
Well, yeah, you slept through a fair chunk of Belgium, but and then a little bit of Eurotunnel. But the travel actually was fine. There was no traffic jams at all. Like nothing there. Cruise control the entire way. And even though I'd had no sleep and did Voidfall demo this morning, which is enough to burn your brain anyway, because Paul and I are chatting for ages, that keeps me awake, which means before I know it, we're going to find Calais.
So it was straight through, and we got to the Eurotunnel like an hour and a half before
we were meant to.
Well, before we planned to. We left plenty of time, so we got on an earlier train. So Voidfall. Luke played Voidfall this morning, got a demo of it, played one cycle.
Yeah.
Who was it who taught you? We've discussed this. You weren't sure. Was it Marcel?
I think it was Marcel. It definitely began with an M and he had glasses.
Right. And was his surname on his badge?
I believe so, yes.
Was it unpronounceable? In that case, that's Marcel.
Yeah, I don't think I can pronounce it. No, he definitely had the strong accent and things like that. And I swear you were chatting to him before when we were wandering around. So
Marcel's the designer of Forgotten Circles from Dreamhaven. So go on.
I was going to say,
I already know what you think of Voidfall because I asked him, but
I enjoyed it from the first round we played. I mean, we're learning it, and I thought this is a ton of iconography we got to learn, and it is not light. This is super heavy. Anybody who claims otherwise is kidding themselves. There's a lot of iconography to learn. But the actions you do kind of start making sense once you've played a cycle of it. You're like, all right, play this card, do 2 of these things. That definitely means pay something. That means get something. But I enjoyed it overall because it did feel like kind of like a halfway point between Eclipse and TI4. You know, it had enough space theme for me, and I had the options of like teching up when I want to, and some. The theme felt stronger in that than miles stronger than that in Eclipse, but obviously nowhere near TI4 levels. But then, whereas I class Eclipse as balance of checkbook and space with all those cubes and that, and it just feels like an economic game.
You had a bit of that.
Yeah, you've got a bit of empire building. Yeah, I've got to manage. You know, you've got money as one of 5 resources you got to worry about. But I get to tech up. I get to decide if I want to build up industry or go conquer stuff. But you know, I'm not so hard up on the economic side of things like Eclipse is. Eclipse is an economic game with a space theme draped over it.
Right.
This kind of feels like a halfway point. It's like, you know, if you made it any more mechanical, it probably would lose a bit of its theme. But I still had fun basically going, right.
Yeah.
Every time I learn a Euro game, pick a theme, run with it and see what happens.
Yeah.
So he mentions, well, you can go for a bit of science, you know, and get more text. Great. So I basically just did the for science approach.
Right.
And went up for population and just sat in my own little thing whilst everybody else was going around attacking little planets. It's like, you know, but I liked it enough that I backed it. Put it that way.
Exactly. Right. So there's a game that's been mentioned in the chat, and I know me and Puppy played it. So we were talking about it on the way home, which is Iki, Neither of us played it.
Nope.
But it is one of those games on the list which neither of us played, but I definitely need to have a look at later because everybody I know who's played it has said it's really good.
Yeah, I've always been sort of put off playing it when I see it. Like I can't, something about it is just making me go, oh, I don't know, is that being developed right, or is this going to be fun enough? But people are saying it's good, and funny that John mentioned a mid-weight meaty game. We were chatting about this on the way back, where it's like, you know, come to think of it, midweight are my favorite types of games, and I can't think of a single good midweight, well, even a single midweight Euro at the convention from the stuff I was playing. It was either a couple of lights, or it's heavy and super heavy Euros. It's like, where's the midweight, like, you know, Viscounts of the West Kingdom-esque level?
Yeah, if we're talking about Golem, Messina, Ark Nova, Bitoku, they're all heavy.
Yeah, possibly even super heavy. Yeah.
We were trying to think if there was a medium weight game that either of us played or brought back, and we didn't. But yeah, Icky seems to be.
Yeah, I want to check what Urs just said there. Is it? Oh, yeah, Tom Vassell.
So Tom Vassel's just done a review of it.
He's just done a review and the Dinosaur World. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely.
And he's giving it the seal of approval, apparently. Seal of excellence.
Seal of excellence. That's 9 out of 10 or something. Right. All right, I'm okay. Well, I didn't try it at the convention, but I'll try it as soon as I can.
Yeah,
that's enough. That's enough. You know, there's enough people and reviewers saying it's good. So
yeah. So that's definitely one that neither of us played, but we want to check out later on. Yeah, there's been. I mean, you were asked today, what was your hidden gem of the convention? And that's a really, really good question. And back in the day, when I were a lad, and I used to come to Essen as just a punter.
How long ago are we talking?
Yeah. Like last week. When I used to come to Essen just as a punter, so we're going back 10 years or so ago or more, I would spend 4 days wandering the halls and literally walking past a booth and looking at it and going, never heard of it, don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But, oh, that looks interesting. And I might play it and think, fantastic, but nobody's ever heard of it. It's not on the hotness list. And then somebody would say, what's your favorite hidden gem of the show? And I'd go, it's that one. Now, because we're both, you were doing some work as well, I was doing some work, we both had meetings to go to.
Yeah.
We don't have 4 days to wander the halls. Therefore, my time was certainly taken up with, want to see these people. So I didn't have that chance to wander around the halls looking for things that could have been hidden gems. So neither of us can answer that question. If you're going to ask us what's the hidden gem, we don't know. That is a question for the people who have the time to go and do that, which I kind of miss.
It's the thing is, the hidden gem thing might come afterwards because we do our research ahead of time. We use Tabletop Together's tool, various other means, BGG list. We did a live stream, so we have some idea of what's there and we have expectations. The first time I went to Essen, I didn't have that before, apart from Tabletop Together's tool, and even then I was still newish to going to Essen, and that was the kid in the candy store thing where I could find a hidden gem.
Yeah.
Now, if there's a hidden gem there, it's a game that I've purchased and not had a chance to play, which frankly, I mean, I'm expecting to like Dune House Secrets, which I haven't tried yet. There's a couple of other small ones. I mean, I think Arcane Wonders stuff might have a hidden gem in there from the small stuff he gave me, like Sherlock 13. I don't know if that's brand new or not.
Yeah.
And when we were at Emperor S4 before we left, they gave me that weird Three Little Wolves thing, which I'm not expecting much of, but we'll see. But then I bought something called Macaroon, which was a light trick-taking game from one of the designers who was behind the desk there, and it's like, you know what, like trick thing, yeah, maybe that will be my hidden gem because I'd never heard of it. I like those sort of games, and maybe that will be it. But it's going to be a sad day when I think, right, I went to Essen and the best hidden gem I could find was a small little trick taking game.
Yeah, but Icky might be the one. I don't know where Icky was on the hotness list, but it's probably moving up.
I don't think it was anywhere to be seen on what we both well, but yeah, Icky actually could be it because the chances are I'll try and play it now as soon as I can see it. Now that it's getting this buzz. And if I find, oh my God, this is really good, it's like, yeah, there's your hidden gem.
Yeah. Joseph makes a very good point. In the past, I have had my scouts while I'm busy working.
Yeah.
Joseph goes around the convention, plays loads of games, and then in the evening, I ask him, right, what's the hidden gem?
Right.
Just so when I get asked, I've got something to say.
Well, Ignacy asked me a couple of times, like, you know, what's your highlight of the convention? It's like, I don't know, because you asked me this as well. It's like, not only can I not think of a hidden gem, I can't think of a highlight. Like, there's no one game I played that I'm so excited to play again or that blows my mind. There was some that I find good. I mean, so maybe some surprises. Like I actually enjoyed my first round of Golem, and I was a bit, Golem. I was surprised to go, wait a minute, this is the same team that gave me Lorenzo. Oh, blimey.
Yeah.
But then they gave me Newton, which is more akin to.
But neither of us have played Bitoku yet.
neither of us have played that because, frankly, I think it's going to take us a million years to get through that rule book and the game. Yeah. I mean, that looks busy, and that was the problem I was having when I did the live stream review and when I did the sort of pre-Essen kind of show I did. When people said, "Oh, what are you looking forward to?" And it's like, well, I don't know because everything is a heavy Euro again, and I like the heavy Euros; they're still there. But can we not? What some mid-weight, some light games for a change?
So in the chat, we've got a suggestion. So first of all, Meeple Pete's hidden gem was Twinkle, a meaty short dice game. Meaty due to it being at the con for 10 hours that day. All right, okay.
Okay, now Settlement. I mean,
I did have your own thoughts on Settlement.
I did the review of Settlement earlier in the week, and it is a good game. It's not for me because I'm not the target audience. It's definitely a gateway, introduce somebody to engine building, but it's light. It's not.
You're saying midway. It's light. That's because Luke has light, medium, and heavy,
and super heavy.
Right. Whereas I have light, medium, medium heavy, and heavy.
You basically do the decimal system.
So for me, Settlement is probably light, medium, whereas for you it's light.
I think it's light.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options. There's a lot of actions you can take, but they're all straightforward. But somebody did mention a could contender. It could be mobile markets.
Mobile markets.
It doesn't sound light. It doesn't sound heavy.
Both of us have a copy of that. Neither of us have played it yet.
It could be the midweight one, although
you played smartphone.
I have, and I'm not the biggest fan of smartphone.
Okay.
It's like the theme doesn't come through for me. It's a dry economic game. So is this one, but from what was being described using the card system and it being more kind of zoomed in thing, like rather than doing a generic world market, it was more this is zoomed in on the consumers in one of those markets,
right?
And some of them are like, we'll pay you whatever. Some will pay you, but only if you put this technology in your phone.
Okay.
Which you've got to keep chopping and changing all the time. And some of them are like, I'll only pay you if you put this tech in. And it's like that is more thematic, and maybe it will be better. But it doesn't sound like it's a streamlined version of smartphone. It sounds like it's just another type.
Johan saying that they liked it better than Smartphone Inc. And who was telling me at the start of the convention?
Even Robert said that.
Was it Robert or was it?
Robert even said to me, like in his personal opinion, it was like, in personal opinion, I think it's smartphone. That was his.
Don't say this to anybody. Definitely don't do a live stream and say this. It might have even been David Dirksey. It might have been David who was saying smartphone, he liked it, but there were issues with it, which have been fixed in mobile. It might have been him. I might be.
Well, if it's David, what was his issues? It wasn't complex.
I can't remember.
Was it complex enough?
Yeah, probably.
Probably. Settlement at light medium. That's the thing. I don't do the sort of light medium heavy. I mean, it's why I don't do 8.5 9.5 ratings like Dice Tower and that, because it's just it's finding an excuse to not make a decision as to whether it deserves a seal or not.
But there's a big difference between this is why I have the light medium. There's a big difference between pick a light game that you can play with literally any, like just one, and Settlement.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I have light medium as a category, because I can't put those in the same. There's no way I can put those.
I suppose technically I do have gateway as a separate level.
Right, you see,
because I do use that term. So I suppose you could say I go gateway, light, medium, heavy. So
your gateway is my light medium.
No, gateway is your light. I mean, my light is your light.
Well, my
medium.
light is just one.
Well, that would be my gateway.
Right. Anyway,
we're not going to get a streamlined system with this, right?
Tune in next week for Paul and Luke discuss ratings. We just have an hour discussion where we don't talk about any games whatsoever. We just talk about.
We could. The most popular live stream I have done is our top 10 thematic Euros. People
but that was
want to watch us.
That actually had a point.
But it doesn't matter if it has a point. People just want to watch us to argue.
Sarah's asking, did either of us have a chance to try Bad Company?
Not aware of that one. Although somebody mentioned one. Not Bad Company. If you like trick taking with hidden roles, Shaman's is picked, but it was known to be good, so not really hidden. Is that Devir? If it was not Devir, it wasn't Devir. The same people who did Old Tree, Studio H.
Studio H.
Yeah, check if it was Studio H, because I remember when I was queuing up for an Old Tree demo, there was that trick taking game there. It was on their list, and I thought, if I get Shaman's, and I thought if it's that one, I'd be interested to try that, but I didn't get time. But when I read the bump on it saying trick taking with a bit of hidden stuff, it's like
Shaman's is Studio H.
Yeah, all right. I need to have. I didn't do a meeting with them, which is a bit of a boo boo on my part. But maybe I should get in touch with them afterwards and see, or maybe it's on release and I can buy it.
So Bad Company, which neither of us heard of.
Yeah, what's Bad Company then? Oh, what's he
It's
got?
from a Porter Games.
I barely looked
So,
at that stand. Yeah.
I was going to go and see a Porter, but I didn't get round to it. But it's designed by the guy who designed the Magnificent. That's the guy who designed the Magnificent.
That makes sense considering the Porter. Although, I mean, I didn't mind Magnificent, but I kind of dried up on it quite quick. Shows like Gateway, light, medium, heavy, med, heavy, super heavy.
Yeah. There you go. Pretty much.
There you go. Simples.
Yeah. Easy, you see.
Shaman's was sold out, was it? No.
Living Forest says, was it? Now, you played Living Forest.
Yes.
And my view on Living Forest from the pre-live show was not fair, really.
I'm just thinking, like, look at those AH LCG storage boxes. That is legendary. One is Mansions of Madness, one is Lord of the Rings, and one is Arkham Horror LCG.
There you go.
Everything else is Lord of the Rings and LCGs.
I'll swap you this box for a pack of Stroop waffles.
It ain't worth it. Although, if somebody wants to buy most of my legendary games and is willing to come and get that would be quite handy.
Are you getting rid of your legendary game?
I don't want to get rid of Aiden Legendary, but I don't play Marvel anymore. And I've got so much of it, and it's all in that box, along with the Firefly one.
There you go. If anybody wants Marvel Legendary from Luke, and he's at GridCon,
and wants to take that, and then maybe.
Peter Cole is asking if we've checked out Pagan Fate of
I have not heard of that one.
So he's just making up titles. So
but there was another one that was more before that one. Living Forest,
Living Forest. You played it,
so. Because I was getting sick and tired of playing the heavy ones. I thought I wanted to do light, and I checked out Dive, which I thought was really good. Good in the sense it's very nothing of the hot releases. I think it was innovative whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Everything is airlifted from a previous design they've done or a previous game. Dive felt unique, being just a nice light game about looking at those translucent layers of different fish, trying to guess how far down it is. It represents the diving theme spot on, and it's innovative. That's like, okay, sweet. That was unexpected, but I'm not going to play that all the time. It's just something I'll say to my game cafe. You might want to consider this game. Living Forest, I played before it, and that's good. It borrows from Mystic Vale with the card flipping off the deck for like, I can flip these cards of different animals.
It's not card crafting though, is it?
No, you don't craft, but like in Mystic Vale, you take cards off the deck and you stop when you want to, hoping you don't bust with 3 nocturnal animal symbols. And you can sort of cancel them out. And it's a case of you do technically build a deck. So it is, in a sense, a deck building rather than card crafting.
Yeah.
But the icons will let you plant trees to get you some bonuses, put out fires for points and victory condition, and buy other cards. It's simple, it's light, and it's fluffy. My only issue with it is that it doesn't really have a unique bone in its body to sort of stand out, even though it looks nice. And also the downtime, even with only 3 of us, was a little bit harsh.
Right.
Not to like have anything against the 2 I was playing with, but when you're doing the card flipping and doing all the actions the 2 actions that you've got, you can't do anything else on your turn.
Right.
You don't prepare your field or anything like that. You've got to wait for the other players to finish.
Okay.
Before you get around to yours. And I thought this was with 3 players. With 4 players, I'd go nuts.
Okay.
So it's fine. It's good, but yeah, it didn't blow my mind.
Meeple Pete is asking about Jekyll vs. Hyde and also Mindbug. I do know about Mindbug, and I know how to play Mindbug. And I was telling Luke about it. So
Mindbug.
Mindbug.
I thought you called it Mindbook.
No, Mindbug.
So what kind of name is that?
Yeah, so the designer of Mindbug has actually been in contact with me for the last couple of months because he's asked me if I would do some sponsored coverage of the game on the channel. And as some of you know, I'm trying to cut down the amount of things that I'm taking on and the amount of work that I'm having to do at the moment. But they were at Essen, and I did mean to go and see them because I've been having this conversation with them about it. So I went by the stand this morning in Hall 6, and I've had a demo of Mindbug, and I have to say that I was more impressed about the game than I thought I was when it was literally a deck of cards. Deck of cards, and I thought, what's this going to be? And then actually he showed it, he played it through, and I've brought a copy home with me. So I do have a copy of Mindbug downstairs. And if Luke doesn't want to go to bed straight away after this stream, we might play. It's either that or Ark Nova. Let's get a quick game of Ark Nova.
It's tempting because I've not played it. I only watched you play Ark Nova, and despite the rules overhead, I do. But I do work tomorrow.
I think if we got Ark Nova out downstairs, we'd get to the end of setup, and then I'd just fall asleep.
Yeah.
But anyway, Mindbug. I've had a demo of it. I brought a copy home with me, and I am.
That thing.
What's that?
Is that Mindbug? Yeah. 2021.
Yes,
Big Eye Cthulhu Eye ripoff. Yeah.
No.
That is a beholder
Who's the
D&D
designer? Richard Garfield.
Yeah. With Marvin Higgins.
Yeah. It was Marvin that I spoke to. So yeah, it's a co-design with Richard Garfield. Richard Garfield's been involved in the design, and I had a good chat with Marvin, and we both talked about back in the 90s when we both played a lot of Magic the Gathering and things like that. But yeah, this game just comes in a deck. So I am seriously reconsidering my decision on saying, I'm sorry, I don't have time to cover this game, to actually, yeah, I'll give some coverage of this game because I quite liked what I saw for it. And I might try and get in a game this Thursday when Paul comes to play Youth Theatre.
What do you mean I didn't appear at the booth again like Luke? I was at the Portal booth for like 2 solid 6-7 hour shifts
Not enough
on those.
Not enough.
Well, granted, but I can only teach Dreadful
enough.
Circus so many times in 2 days without starting to get sick and tired, because I wanted more of a variety of games. But no, it was good working with the Portal lot. I love seeing those. I mean, they are the true family unit from a publisher. It's like every publisher will have people that get on well, but nobody ever feels like these aren't just mates.
Right.
Like they've been family for years practically. It feels that way.
Yeah.
Particularly with all the little side games that they play in their booth, which confuses the hell out of people there.
David says that he's very impressed by the split screen. Yeah, we've managed to basically do some kind of very, very special technology that we've got a special background and we split it. In fact, it's so good. If I punch you in the face or pretend
I'll punch you back. It's like, I'm sorry, but you're gonna like threaten the 6 foot.
No. I'm just showing off the
small midget man.
I'm just showing off the technology that we've got here with this amazing split screenness that we've got.
Yeah, but it can also do like 3D effects, because I feel like I'm really
the
screen is.
Right.
Somebody mentioned Old Tree. Yes.
Yeah, that's the only game that I've played to completion.
True. Yeah, we actually
in the last 5 days, I actually have played a game of Old Tree to completion.
You liked it? I liked it fine, but I wasn't blown away by it. But you liked it more.
Well, I liked it.
Yeah. It's a decent co-op.
There's nothing new about it.
There's
nothing new, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's by Antoine Bowser. It's been compared to Ghost Stories, which I sort of see.
I don't see that at all.
But in that it's cooperative. And
it's a co-op. It's a cooperative.
You're moving around and there's stuff to do. But no, but
it's not tower defense technically. Ghost Stories doesn't have narrative.
No, and that's the thing. What they've done is they've brought the narrative in. But you could completely take the narrative out of Old Tree.
Mm-hmm.
And if Old Tree had come out 5 years ago, it would have been the same game without the narrative.
Correct.
But now, instead of turning a card over, which has got some icons on it, you turn the card over, you read a little bit of text, and then there's some icons on it.
And then there's a skill check on it.
Games are having more narrative in there.
It doesn't tell like this, a coherent story from beginning to end, apart from like a minor trope. It's like, what's the story? Defend the fort. Thing appears. Oh look, big demon! Stop it!
Spoilers.
Whatever. It's in the first like introductory chronicle, but it's not bad. But it was nice. It's fine. It's nice, but people were hyping it a little bit much before I played it. And I think that helped.
Yeah.
Although Vincent Dutrait's artwork does make it look good, I don't know how that man keeps timetable. Whatever the guy. Vincent and Dutrait must be 2 separate people.
And Ian and O'Toole. Yeah, definitely 2 separate people based on the amount of work. I think the problem with Old Tree is that your first game of it, there's 6 stories in the game. I think there's 6 stories in the game. Your first play of that story is going to be the best one.
Yes, it won't be the same.
You can replay it. It's just like replaying a scenario from Arkham Horror: The Living Card Game.
But you know what's coming.
You know what's coming. There's some variability, but your first time playing it, it's the portal's opened and demons have come through. Spoilers. And the second time you play it, you're like, okay, well, we know the story. We know that's going to happen and that's going to happen. All of the other stuff is going to be different.
It's also the fact that one of the end triggers, if you can't do the main one being the Chronicle, is we didn't expect what was required to succeed. So it took us by surprise, made it more tense, and we lost as a result.
But then the
second time, I know it's coming.
Right, okay.
Which means that I know exactly that as soon as certain things appear, it's like, deal with it now.
Right.
And even the guy teaching us the game said, if you want my advice, you might want to build this bit first or something. And it's takes it a little bit out of enjoyment if you start gaming the system like that. But it's fine. I was just happy enough to play a co-op. That wasn't super heavy.
Meeple Pete says that he liked Suspects. I brought Suspects home with I haven't brought Suspects home with me. Suspects is in the van with Dan.
Right.
So I will have Suspects at the end of this month. Did you get Suspects?
No, to be honest, apart from Ultra, I didn't really look at the other Studio H stuff because when I've seen it on the table, none of them kind of like pulled my eye across, and I think I needed to be at the portal. In fact, yeah, when I finished Ultra, I literally had to run to the portal because I didn't get time to stick around, and I never went back. But now that Seamus has been mentioned, it's like, all right, I better give that one a look.
Talk about the new Welcome to game, which was being played in the bar area last night of the Premier Inn.
Is that all it is?
What?
I thought because it's done by Ludenaut or something, isn't it?
With the Welcome to the Moon.
Yeah, that's not just a sequel to Welcome to, is it?
Well, it's Welcome to.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
so it's a roll and write game.
Yeah, but they didn't copyright Welcome to. It could have been any Welcome to.
Oh, you mean it's by a different publisher? Oh yeah,
I think it is done by a different publisher.
It's the original publisher.
I don't think Sit Down or Ludenaut did Welcome to.
No, they didn't. That was
You got your iPad there. Have a look.
What was it?
I'll deal with the chat. But I mean, if that's all it is, just another roll and write, then I honestly just don't care. I'm up to here with roll and writes. Price tag on Moon. Fine with the prices. See, yeah, vindication. Chat is concerned about the price of a game because you were telling me that when I was like doing, when we got like fine with the price or price tag kept me from buying it or something, because you were talking about my Descent review about the fact that I talk about price in my reviews now.
Yeah.
People do care about how much it costs.
Yeah. So the original Welcome to was Blue Cocker Games, and Welcome to the Moon is Ludenaut.
I mean, does it say like re-implemented or expansion?
I'm gonna have a look. I just assumed it was another one in the series.
It didn't look like it was from the cover and that, but then to be honest,
it was being played last night and they had mats. It wasn't paper and draw on, it was white mats with dry marker erase.
But they still had to write on it. All right, maybe.
I think so.
Well, Brett's saying it is a sequel, which, like I say, if it's just another roll and write or flip and write or X and write, whatever you want to call it, and then
publisher
fast.
Blue Cocker Games.
Well,
so it is the same publisher.
Unless, well, to be fair, Ludenaut and Sit Down with next versions, so maybe Blue Cocker was part of a trio and it was all the same book.
Yeah, it uses the same flip and write game mechanisms as the earlier title Welcome to.
Yeah, all right.
But now you play in a campaign across 8 adventure sheets.
A campaign. Everything's got to have a campaign these days. Have a campaign. The crew and all this have to have a campaign. It's not a campaign.
I'm going to design Monopoly.
Campaign.
Monopoly Columpton campaign.
Monopoly Columpton.
Monopoly Columpton, the campaign.
There's not enough streets in Columpton to a Monopoly board.
Monopoly Legacy Columpton campaign.
I don't think you've got what you need. 3, 6, 9, 12. I don't think you have 24 streets in Columpton.
Yes, we do.
A Monopoly board. Certainly not 4 train stations.
We don't have 4 train stations. We don't have any. We used to have a train station. We don't have a train station.
No. Too bad there was no new 18XX. There's nothing bad about that.
Well, you say there was no new 18XX, but the company from up the road, up the M5, not a Porter Games, the other ones.
Well, Capstone had Imperial Steam.
No, an actual 18XX game.
I didn't see one there, but it's not like I would have been looking for it.
The people who did Race Formula 90.
It blends. 18XX would blend in so well by looking like paper. So it's
right. Race Formula 90 is by a company called Gotha. Gotha Games are based in Weston-super-Mare.
Are they?
Yeah.
All right. I've heard of Race Formula 90.
And they were at the show, and they had an 18XX game at their booth.
Oh, no.
1865 Sardinia.
Are they known for trains?
Whether it was that one or not. No, that's 2011.
No, that's 2011. Did somebody mention it? 18DO.
18DO. So yeah, Gotha Games did have.
Is that or 18DU? I don't know.
18DO.
I don't know. 18 plus X.
Oh no, 18DE, Germany.
Right. I mean, it's 18. Add 2 initials. Whatever. I mean, it's.
Anyway, there was an 18DE game that came out in 2020.
So I know. So it uses the Mega. What do you call it? The Mega.
But that's not Gotha Games.
Yeah, the merger conversion system from 1817. Well, that sucks. Then I mean, I much prefer the one from 1860.
Definitely. Yeah. The one from 1817 was.
16 was better. Call the old. 17 is just a gimmick. This is how stupid those games are. I don't care.
So anyway, yes. So I think there was some.
Is this a gaming rules takeover at Broken Mule headquarters? Honestly, I wouldn't say no to that. So I could do with a co-host. But what else you got? Speaking of prices, why is Furnace only $30? because it's a box of cards and a few tokens.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that
Yeah,
expensive. There's not much in
Furnace
it.
for 30, I think, is the right price for what you get in the box.
And I mean, I don't mind it. I didn't love it, but there are friends of mine who love Furnace, so I wouldn't write it off as, oh, it's $30, it can't be good. A semi-co-op with Monopoly Tiverton.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
A semi-Monopoly Legacy, no, it's not going to work. What else do we got? Wait, Luke is talking about train games. Well, he brought up the subject. It's not my fault. Rick's got it. Trains yawn. See, that's the right answer. Luke loves trains really. Look, Whistle Stop doesn't really even feel like a train game. Nor does Spike. Well, actually, no, Spike is. But let's pick up and deliver. And Ticket Ride, I'm not gonna. I mean,
Ticket Ride is not a train game.
Exactly. So it's there is no train game I play that is about economic building of tracks. No. Like you won't catch me saying, "Oh, I like Age of Steam" or any of the Iberian or Irish Gauge or whatever they are. So
Right. The last question we've just had in the chat is a very, very good question. The number of big publishers that were not at the show, there were a number of big publishers not at the show. A number of publishers didn't come for various reasons. Some didn't come because they didn't feel it was a safe environment.
I mean, no Asmodee, and considering how much is in Asmodee, you can imagine all the ones that's why Seven Wonders Architect was not there in anything but German, because with no Asmodee, you don't get any repost production.
You don't get repost, you don't get Space Cowboys, you don't get any of the Asmodee group. Splotter weren't there, WizKids weren't there,
my heart bleeds.
Chip Theory Games weren't there. There's a lot of other publishers that weren't there. Now,
can you imagine them shipping off of their stuff?
Yeah, it's not all just COVID related. There's obviously travel issues, there's shipping issues, there's countries on different coloured lists, which is COVID issue.
Yeah.
So the question is, did it feel like a lesser convention, and was it still worth going? That is the big burning question.
Worth going, yes. However, when I go to Essen, I'm not going there to get the games primarily. I'm going there for the social part. The evenings where I get to hang out, just play some games, have a drink, eat some German food, whatever. Get to see a lot of European either publishers or content creators that I don't see often. I get to see the Portal gang there, I get on well with, and there was a couple that watch my channel and comment on my stuff a lot that I've only just now met. Great. And of course, a few people who do watch it from Europe who I don't see at all other than comments on YouTube channels can at least hopefully find me. Although wearing a mask all the time not only made like breathing hard after a while or something, like I needed air, but it makes you unrecognizable.
Almost, yeah. So it is absolutely right. There were some major publishers were not there at the show for various reasons. In terms of how busy the show was, it was a lot quieter than normal. It was possibly, I mean, I'd like to see the numbers, but my guess is it was about a third to a half. On the Saturday was the busier day.
Yeah.
But I remember Essen for every single corridor literally being wall to wall people, and it takes you 15 minutes to get there.
Yeah,
it wasn't like that at all.
It was less than that. I wouldn't say hard. I mean, bear in mind they took away Hull 4. You only had part of Hull 5.
Yeah.
You only had part of a couple of other ones like Hull 1 in that. So they certainly reduced the space and reduced the capacity and relativeness. Now, you still couldn't exactly run from one bit to the other because you would collide with a ton of people. And there were still times where I had to squeeze past a few. But yeah, it wasn't like sardine cramp. Like, I mean, if I turn with the backpack I had on, I'm not clotheslining some other person or taking off somebody's stock. So yes, there was less, but
I'm going to say it was half capacity on the Saturday. That's my rough guess, and I will wait to see the figures.
I'll go 2/3. Yeah,
a lot of the booths were full, right? So CGE, every single table was full all the time. We went for a demo of Siege of Rundar. We tried twice. Every single table was full. The Old Tree tables were full. I walked past Plan B Games. All of their tables were full. Dan, my mate, who was running the Detective Society, they had 4 demo tables. Almost every table was full every moment of the day from Thursday through to Sunday. So from a publisher's point of view, demo tables were still busy.
Yeah.
Sales are definitely down, absolutely down. But from a visitor's point of view, yes, I missed Space Cowboys being there. Yes, I missed Splotter being there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just playing.
But Splotter should be attested. Whether we like their games or not, they're a publisher that should be attested. They weren't there. But from a visitor's point of view, it was great. Apart from those publishers being missing, because it was less busy, and you were able to, you got more chance of getting demos.
If it was that level of busyness and the publishers were still there, then that's the ideal setup, because when it gets stupidly busy at normal times, it's too crowded. Like, I write off Saturday for nothing but meetings and volunteering work because it's just pointless getting into a demo. The only thing was that because of the reduced capacity and COVID concerns, most of them weren't having a lot of demo tables. And so even though you had a reduced capacity, it still made it hard to get into the demos because there weren't as many tables.
CGE really spread
doing demos. Like, you want more stuff like CGE with a bunch of tables, and even then, and all 5 tables getting used up. But these super heavy games are doing like 1-2 tables max, and that's not any different from previous sessions, I'll admit, because publishers still don't seem to have a clue as to how to do effective demos.
Yeah, John makes a very good point. Eagle Griffin Games. I should have mentioned Eagle Griffin. You've also said that you miss Tasty Minstrel Games.
Oh yeah,
but TMG would not have been there anyway.
I was going to say, yeah.
TMG are no more.
Yeah.
So yeah, they wouldn't have been there. 97,000 tickets sold.
It felt like a good 100,000. I mean, it's more than
what was it last year?
I don't know. But it's usually
not last year, year before.
Well, it's normally in the early 100,000s.
You're a wealth of information. Can you let us know what it was?
Yeah.
2 years ago.
I felt like they normally quote somewhere between like the 125 and the 150.
Yeah. So Joseph's a good point. Knowing what he knows now, because Joseph was about whether to go or not.
200,000.
Yeah.
That seems a little high.
Yeah. No, I thought it was. So what? You're good at maths. So 97,000. So what's that?
Yeah, all right. It didn't feel like half.
It felt like half to me.
But fine, yeah.
Yeah. So Joseph is saying, knowing what he knows now, kind of wishes it were gone. But what?
There's a comment that like Paul's eyebrows made that wearing.
Oh yeah,
mine. I was just like trying to validate that.
I've not trimmed them in 7 days, so they've grown a bit wild.
What do you mean 7 days?
I usually trim them twice a week. My eyebrows grow.
These don't get trimmed at all.
Yeah, so why
do your eyebrows sprout up? Like
my eyebrows grow as fast as my hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never had to worry about that.
It's a serious medical condition, and I'm in therapy for it. But thanks for pointing it out.
Do you go to? Yeah. Was I say? Do you go to like those spa places?
No. I do.
Sit there. Does the girl do your nails as well?
No. But yeah, they my eyebrows grow fast. So yeah, but Joseph. 2 days before I left for Essen, I wasn't sure whether I actually wanted to go or not. So I think anybody I don't want anybody watching this to feel bad because we've had a great time and thinks, oh, you should have gone. Because we might have come home and gone,
horrible.
Actually, it really wasn't that good. We didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know how I was going to feel till I got there.
We had a good time overall. I wasn't blown away by games, but I still enjoyed it for the social aspect, which is the main reason I go to an overseas convention anyway. So, game-wise, you're not necessarily missing out on waiting for just a retail thing. Yes, you do have to put up with a lot of red tape with the COVID stuff and all the scans and constant checking your phone app, which gets aggravating after a while. So, there are some caveats with the enjoyment of Essen. Obviously, future years, it's not going to be like that anymore.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm expecting more people. But then I would like to have. I probably would have noticed the drop in attendance more had they not reduced the hall space, because it's like, well, if you're worried about like too many things there, why didn't you just leave hall 4 and hall 1 and that fully open and space the publishers out even more? They can have more demo tables and you can have more publishers there and still space it out. But it's like you're still using the hall. It's not like your electricity bill goes up just because there's an extra dude there. Like,
so hall 1, they only used about 80% of it, and then there was this kind of wall
sealed off bit,
and then there was nothing in that bit, and you're like, well, why have you got this big open bit? Anyway, I normally tell a sort of interesting story of something that happened during the day today, and there is one that I've just remembered. So I left Luke at the Emperor S4 stand because you were waiting for
I was waiting.
Urzo.
I was waiting for Urzo to come back. Yeah.
So I said, right, well, I've got 10 minutes. I'll pop to Capstone Games to drop off a pack of Jaffa cakes, and I'll come back, because basically that's the agreement I've got with Capstone Games. Is I give them a pack of Jaffa cakes, they send me the latest Alexander.
I assumed you went for a legit visit chat or a quick goodbye for you. You didn't tell me it was just.
I went to drop off a pack of Jaffa cakes. That's literally why I went there. And on the way there, so on the way walking to Capstone Games, this guy stops me and says, Paul, you know, good to meet you. Can I have your honest opinion on something? I don't know who this guy is at all, right? And he says, I want your honest opinion on something. And he says, coffee traders. Now, I'd just been talking that morning about coffee traders with Jill, and I said, I've never played it. I think it's a super heavy game. It's very expensive. It looks impressive, and I've heard it has a terrible rule book. And he went, yes. And I'm like, right. And he said, I'm Ralph. I'm one of the designers of coffee traders. No, sorry. I've spoiled the story. He said, I'm the designer of coffee traders. Okay. And I was like, oh, right. Okay. Well, I'm just giving you my honest, I haven't played it, but that's what I've been doing. Anyway, we had a bit of a chat.
What's the next narrative story game
you're
working on?
We had a bit of a chat, and I said to him, I said, look, I tell you what, 5 years ago, if I didn't come home with a copy of Coffee Traders, I would have been very expensive, because it's like, it's a possibly a Vital Lacerda. People in the chat who've played Coffee Traders, tell me if I'm wrong. Is it a Vital Lacerda style heaviness of game? And because I play Vital's
super
games,
heavy, I mean,
yeah, people think I love playing super heavy games. And 5-10 years ago, yes. However, super heavy games take up a lot of brain capacity. And I play Vital's games and I work on Vital's games because I'm professionally involved in them. That doesn't mean that I have the brain capacity to play lots of other super heavy games. So super heavy games are now, generally speaking, outside of my wheelhouse, apart from the ones that I'm professionally involved in. So anyway, I had that chat with him, and then I walked to the Capstone Games booth, and Clay wasn't there, but I was talking with Gregor, and I gave him the package off gates, and we had a chat. Anyway, there was a guy at the Capstone Game booths who was like, Paul, I want to speak to you. And I'm like, oh, okay, right. And he said, can I show you my game? And I'm like, you know, I've got to go back and meet Luke because he's driving me home, and I can't. I've already spent 5 minutes talking to Ralph about coffee traders. And I said, sorry, I said, I haven't got time. I'm going to have to go. But which is your game? And he said, coffee traders. I designed it. And I'm like, wait a minute. What's going on here? And it turns out coffee traders had two designers, and within the space of 5 minutes, both of them bumped into me and wanted to know what my opinion of coffee traders was. So yeah.
There's other thing. I sort of realized, you went to deliver cafe cakes. What was mine?
There's two downstairs in the suitcase.
In the suitcase.
Yeah, they've been bashed around a little bit.
As I say, I only ate a single Jaffa cake for 8 hours. Yeah. There was Vincent mentions a point. Felt too busy because of the long lines and chaos. I mean, there was definitely lines for a lot of those games. Like, I gave up trying to get a demo of Azul then, because it's like I am not waiting for 4 games of Azul to finish with like the conventions up. The thing is, a lot of those problems could be sorted if publishers did demos right. And we talked about this on the way back, and I'll give credit to Grana Games for this, because they've got the perfect way of doing it. And someone else mentioned, I think Vincent mentioned, like, online reservations being great. Online reservations is good, but so many publishers are still doing full-length games for their long games. And you should not do a full-length game for anything over 30 minutes. Yeah. If your game takes more than 30 minutes,
maybe 45.
Even pushing it. I mean, Dreadful Circus can take that long, but we did the full game of that, and it's like, yeah, maybe we could, but then we even reduced the number of cards that we taught.
Right.
You normally start with more cards. We deliberately toned that down. Yeah. It's also, but loads of publishers will still do full-length games. Botoku was being taught in full lengths, I think. I'm sorry, this 2-hour massive heavy Euro with a massive rules overhead. You've got thousands of people wanting to look at your game. Why not let thousands of people get to experience your game? Now, Grana, I thought, did it brilliantly this year. No one else has done this.
Gutenberg, the game is, isn't it?
Yeah, Gutenberg. The one they were doing games did it brilliantly, because some people do just full-length demos, no reservation. Others will do full-length games with a reservation. Yeah. Or they'll do demos with a reservation, whatever. They'll do one or the other. They were doing both. I got into a Gutenberg demo because they had reservations for both a full-length game and demos. They split it between their tables. So if you wanted a full-length game, you could have it. You just knew it was a 2-hour slot you had to book. But then you could also book a 45-minute demo of a couple of rounds, which I did to squeeze it in on a Saturday, because frankly, especially with Gutenberg, if you can't figure out you like a game after the first couple of rounds, then you're in trouble. That was all I needed. I did not need 2 hours of the rinse repeat. So it's like, if all publishers did that, I reckon you would cut lines drastically.
I'm really interested, for those people who are watching this live in the chat, and if you're one of the thousands of people that are watching this video afterwards, please let us know your feeling. But on the way home, me and Luke agreed, publishers in general should not be running full games of games at Essen. Now, if you're one of those people that needs to play the whole, and we're talking, unless it's less than 45 minutes or 30 minutes to loop, right? If you're one of these people that needs to spend 3 hours playing a game in full to decide whether you like it or not, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to hear from you, because in my opinion, if you play a game for an hour, that should be enough to see whether you like it or not. And then,
particularly if rounds are rinse repeat,
you move on and they get the next people in. I personally don't see any benefit in spending 3 hours playing a full game of something at a busy trade fair. Play it for an hour, get an idea. Do you like it? If you do, move on.
Having both is good, but I mean, as a compromise, if they don't want to do both, then just do demos. Because I don't think in your thought can spoil. So it works with that. With a long Euro game, you get 1 or 2 rounds. Most heavy Euro games will be rinse repeat. I played 1 round of Golem. Right. The fact that I didn't play rounds 2, 3, and 4 makes no difference. They are exactly the same round, other than your things are slightly more powerful. The only thing you learn additionally by playing a full game of something is how to score. Whoop-de-doo, I'm not there to care whether I win the game or not. I'm more like, do I have fun playing this?
So let's see who in the chat. So Jeremy's here. Hi, Jeremy. Good to see you. Hope you're doing okay. So Jeremy's in the US. He couldn't play a full demo of a game. So you couldn't play a full demo of a game at a con. That's for the after-con hours. When you say you couldn't play it, is that because it wasn't available, or it's just not something that you do?
I mean, some people say that they like to play. Some people say they don't like online reservations. Now, I can understand if you prefer to not have to find time to book the time, because obviously that's an extra pressure of keeping the time. In fact, people who were supposed to turn the Gutenberg demo didn't turn up, and we had 2 randoms come in. But you know, if you're going to make a schedule, keep to it. But then the problem is, if when I've done it, I'm just going to wing it and see what demos I can get in. You don't get into a table because it's booked up, and you've got no idea how long it's going to take. And you might be wanting to queue by the table. So do the other 10 people surrounding the table.
David says that FFG have always had a good length on their booths at UK Games Expo. 30-45 minutes worked well.
For the game, I hope, not the queue.
For the game. Mobile Markets did a demo game, 3 rounds instead of 5.
Very quickly, Gutenberg is fine. I just found it a bit rinse, repeat, and dry. It's
Tony's saying keep demos down to 30 minutes max. For me, depending on the game, I'd be happy with a 45-minute to 1 hour demo. How long was your Voidfall demo?
2 hours.
Exactly.
Because it had to teach us a lot of
length.
It had to teach us the rules overhead, and we got through 1 cycle.
But the full game would have been 5 hours.
With the people we had first time going.
Exactly. So 2 hours.
It's relative depending on the type of game. I mean, if it's a game that's going to take multiple hours, 1 round could take a long time, particularly with the rules overhead.
If you'd have played Voidfall for 45 minutes, I don't think that would have been enough, because you'd have played 1 or 2 cards each. You needed to play the first cycle to see, and then we do this 3 times.
But then on that front, bear in mind, we got taught pretty much most of the rules
before we played.
Otherwise, we do what we like to do with the teaching style.
Get on with it.
Which is get on with it, put it a little bit on rails. I tell you I want to do science. You tell me how that works. And I go and do the bits. At least gives me the way it is. So they probably just need to change their style of doing a demo. But then they did have 4 Voidfall tables.
That's true.
So if you are going to have something that's going to take 2 hours to play, then at least have more than a table. Or a couple of those. Gutenberg had 4. Vitoco only had 2. And did full-length games. No wonder nobody got the chance to demo it.
Johnny's saying, a quarter of the game is more than enough. A quarter to a third of the game.
It depends how many
depends on the game.
Rounds. Most games tend to be a 4-round option. Play a round.
Gutenberg or no, shouldn't be played a full game. Personally need 2 to 30 minutes. I'm guessing that means I'm assuming that means 20, 30 minutes.
Well, to be fair, if it was an 80x game, 2 minutes would be enough for me.
30 to 45 minutes for me is probably enough.
I mean, I was hoping that Portal would demo Predaporter, because I can teach that game well, but I do that in the style of, first round's going to be a bit on rails. You just tell me which of these thematic options you want to do, and I'll tell you how it works. Second round, you get a little bit more control. Third round, the show, I run it through, because the show is basically go through these steps, and you see what you did in the first 2 rounds. That's it. If I was demoing it, I would literally just not teach the rules overhead, go straight into it, do 1/4 of the 4, because they are essentially the same with only a little change in quarter 4, and that would be more than enough to tell you if you like the game or not. You try playing a Porter if they taught you all the rules and then you tried to do the full game. It's like, no.
So Jeremy has confirmed. Me and Jeremy are so alike. I'm sure we were separated at birth. Basically, he wouldn't play a game. So even if he had the option of playing a game in full, he wouldn't play a game because you don't have time at a con.
Yeah,
you want to see as many games as you can.
His words are spot on. Is that I wouldn't play with them. My intention to see more games. Yeah, more games during the con. I even said this to people I was doing Dreadful Circus to. I said, like, the game's a little short on that, and say that's because we deliberately cut the start cards down.
Yeah.
Because it's enough to give you a flavor of the game. More cards simply means more length. If you want to artificially make the game shorter, just do what we just did. And at the end of the day, you're at a con.
Yeah.
You want to do other things besides sit here with me, surely.
Yeah. So overwhelming response from the chat is agreeing with what we think. But I know people who want to play a full game at a con. And again, not saying that's wrong, but if you are one of those people, let us know. Leave us a comment, but tell us why. Because as I say, for us, a quarter to a third of the game is enough for us to know whether we like it. And personally, I think that's the point of trying a game at a con. So yeah, if you are one of those people who needs to play the full game at a con, let us know why. I'm interested to see what you think about it.
Look, Vincent, the 1 hour game demo, 4 players, 4 days. It was 144 players per
doing
table. He's doing the maths for 200 pounds. I mean, as I say, you've got to cut it short. You've got thousands of people showing, and if I could not give your game a second glance if I constantly feel frustrated that I can't get a demo of it, because this year I didn't do a lot of impulse buying. I tried Golem before I bought it. I tried Boonlake before I bought it. I tried a few games before I bought them, and some I have impulse buy because I realized that I wasn't quite as skint as I thought. But we're getting more picky with the games, and sometimes it's like I need to see it in action because at the moment, we're not seeing much new innovation come out with a lot of games. So therefore, it's not enough for me to just go, well, let me buy this game because it's 90% the same as a game I already have and like.
So Tony makes a good point. If you want to play a full game, play it in the hotel. Playing a full game at a convention is being selfish
to other people.
That's Horde of the Board that said that. Horde of the Board says, give other people a chance.
Yeah.
Now, if you're like that, then I think the responsibility is also on the publisher.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not the consumer fault because that's how the publisher's running their game.
Yeah.
And not some people will go, if it's okay, I don't really need to play the full game. And I'll be the first person to say that. So, it's more the publisher's format, because if you try to tell them just do shorter games, they'll probably bite your hand off. So, they won't.
So, Hilmar has put, I'm one with 5 exclamation marks in capitals.
Well, I'm the one.
I think Hilmar is saying that he's somebody who needs to play a full game.
He did say earlier that he wants to play the full game.
There you go.
Which basically, if we're going by what Horde of the Board is saying, is you're selfish.
Yeah. Well, he's not, because he's very generous. He's giving you those spirits upstairs.
Yeah, I've still got the spirit he gave me from UK Games Expo. I need to drink that at some point in moderation, but
not tonight.
No, not
anyway. We've rambled on enough about short demos, and that's the way we think.
I'm not sure about the agile.
Jeremy's saying, do you always look for innovation? Some games can have similar. So me and Luke, we have slightly different opinions on this. I am more than happy with a game which is just a recycled mismatch of mechanics from other games, and I don't mind that. Whereas you are more looking for something new.
Yes. I mean, I if you're going to put a blanket cult of the old, cult of the new, I'm probably more cult of the old, but it's not like, I love all the old games. It's more that if a game has come out that already does it well, why are we trying to just copy it?
Right.
The games that surprise me the most are the ones that I come across and don't expect it or have a twist. Deck building has done that a little bit in a sense. Like I go mad about runestones because I played it and it's like, okay, this is another deck builder. Show me your unique selling point. Okay, you play 2 cards, the lower number gets trashed out of your deck. It's like, okay, that's different. A self-trashing deck builder.
Right.
So something new, even though a lot of the other stuff is familiar, but it's like, there you go, there's your twist.
Right.
The Garfield game stuff usually throw a good twist. Architects of the West Kingdom is a perfect example. Worker placement, we've seen that a million times. Your number of workers makes it more powerful. Okay, fine. Oh, but you get to arrest other people's workers and you have to go get yours back from prison.
Yeah.
Unique selling point.
Right. Okay.
And it's those twists, but everything I've played at the convention here, like I play Golem.
Yeah.
And it's like, I enjoyed it.
Is there anything new in Golem?
No.
But you enjoyed it and you bought it?
I enjoyed it and I bought it because, well, like I said, I need to review it
and
give it a try. But, you know, whether I'll keep it, I don't know, because I've only played one round of it. But from what I played and what I've seen of it, it's like, this has got a lot of similarities to Newton.
Right.
It's got that style. And it's like, even my friend said, you know, how come you haven't looked at Golem or something? Because surely this is up your street because you love Lorenzo. And they said it looks like it plays a bit too similar to Newton, which we already have, or both of us have and love. So why do we need something else that feels Newton? There's only so much time to play games.
Yeah.
You're only going to play one of them at a time. So why have two that do the exact same thing?
Right.
You know, and we get thousands of games released a year. We could trim that down a lot if people tried to come up with something. It has to be brand new. But find a new way to do something. The Crew's a perfect example.
The Crew's
trick taking's existed for years.
Cooperative trick taking
has not. Yes, exactly. It's the fact that, look, we know trick taking, we know cooperative. No one tried to combine the two together. Simple concept. It's in my collection, and it's one of the most innovative games I've ever played. It's like, that's the sort of thing. It's not a case of you've got to invent something new. But you got to try something different.
Good question. Are there any legacy games released this year?
I am not aware of any.
I am not aware of any legacy games released this year.
I think legacy has kind of...
You think it's done?
I don't think it's done. I think somebody will try to do a legacy game, but I think it's dying a slow death because the recent legacy stuff has really come and gone, or it's been desperate. Like, isn't My City that little... Was that a Konnichiwa game or was that somebody else? I can't remember. But
that's supposed to be really good.
Well, it's supposed to be good, but I mean, I don't hear anyone else talk about it. But does that need to be legacy?
Okay.
You know, a little game is like legacy is getting to the point where it's plastered on everything to make it sell.
Right.
You know, Pandemic comes in and goes, oh, massive hit. Now everybody wants to do a bit of legacy, because how long between Risk Legacy before Pandemic Legacy?
Couple of years, wasn't it? 3 years.
It was quite a huge game. Risk Legacy is a fairly old game compared to that. So there was a big gap between those two. It wasn't like Risk Legacy came out and then suddenly everybody tried to make a legacy game.
Right.
You know, because Risk Legacy wasn't huge.
Right.
You know, but lately it's the same with campaign games.
Right.
You know, give me a campaign game like Tainted Grail, big gritty story with all that stuff. Don't give me what you just said a minute ago with, what was it? You looked up the game on there and you said it had a campaign. Welcome to the Moon?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a campaign from a roll and write. Come on.
It's just a series of 8 connected scenarios.
Well, even the Crew claims it's a campaign. It's like they keep using the word.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Manchikoro Legacy. Oh yeah.
Manchikoro Legacy. That came and died of death, I think.
Yeah, because why does Manchikoro need to be legacy? It's
right. Okay.
But yeah, I've not seen any legacy games recently, which I'm not fussed about, because let's face it, you know, you're paying enough for these games to then make it destructible.
Right.
It doesn't make it any better anymore.
Yeah, Clank Legacy is excellent. I've been told Clank Legacy is fantastic. Just haven't had a chance to
play it. I suppose that is reasonably recent.
And yeah, Joseph makes a very good point of campaigns versus legacy. The good campaigns can do just as well as most legacy games. And the difference, for those people who don't know, in a legacy game, you physically alter components in the game such that you can't really play it again. Whereas a campaign, you're not actually physically altering things. So you will write things down on a piece of paper. So Tainted Grail is a campaign. Once you're finished with it, you can play it again, or you can give it to somebody else. You've not physically marked anything in the game apart from your save sheet where you've ticked off.
I see what he means about campaign versus legacy replayable after the fact, because it says like good campaigns can do as well as most legacies, because some bad campaign games you would not play again. Descent, the new one, is my opinion of what would be considered a bad campaign, because there is no reason to play that campaign more than once.
Okay.
Right? But Tainted Grail has enough branching paths in it that you could do evil one day, do good the next, try some other route. I mean, I could happily go back to the base set of Tainted Grail with a different character and get a completely different storyline. Days of the Siege, the War of Mine one that I did the video on, I rave about that so much, because it's like 3 acts, 2 different versions of the subsequent acts. So you've got already those branching paths. You have to find something like 10 story assets to do certain things. I found 2 of the 10.
So very replayable.
Right. And there's a ton of endings. I even had to rewind one of my choices because I accidentally ended the game in Act 2 because one guy got out by the story bit, but ended up abandoning all the friends. And I thought, well, hang on, I need to play Act 3. So I rewound my decision. It's just like,
But that's a campaign. That's not legacy.
It's a campaign. Yeah. It's not legacy. But I could happily go back and play it again because branching paths make a good one.
Right.
But where do we say campaign versus legacy? A single linear on rails campaign might as well be a legacy game.
Right.
You don't destroy anything,
but you're not going to play it again.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. So anyway, no new legacy games this year. We don't think so. So Pandemic Legacy Season 0 and Legacy are both replayable.
Yeah. Sleeping Gods is a good example, because on that, because that one is not legacy, it's campaign.
It's campaign.
But there's plenty enough branching paths for you to replay it again, with the exception of the starting area that you kind of have to repeat.
No, it's my mate Mark's in the chat. Hi Mark, good to see you. He's just got Oath recently. He's been playing that, which is a campaign game. I don't think it's legacy. It's not
legacy. I think it's sort of campaign. I don't know. I haven't really paid that one much attention.
Yeah,
it was like
you play a
expensive.
series of scenarios and
it was like big, massive, and expensive. So I kind of gave it a miss.
Yeah, Aeon's End Legacy is amazing. If you have not played Aeon's End
Legacy,
absolutely.
I've only played normal Aeon's End.
No, Aeon's End Legacy needs to be legacy.
It was kind of like
and works really well, and it was a fantastic. It's my favorite legacy game, but I haven't played Clank Legacy yet.
Yeah, so, I haven't played because I wasn't the biggest fan of Clank, so I never went there into Legacy. But I would try it.
Yeah,
and I'd try Aeon's End Legacy, but I'd probably try it the once and go, "This is cool." Yeah. But I have Sentinels in the Multiverse, the superior version, therefore I keep that. Sentinels.
Not played it yet, but anyway.
Line between Legacy and campaign.
Jeremy's right. Aeon's End Legacy is the only one worth your time. See, I told you, separated at birth, me and him. Absolutely.
Fine, go get married. I was like, I'm sure it'll be a happy relationship.
Yeah.
Don't know what Biggie was over that, but the
sure.
Versions of the cards, trying to see Aeon's End Legacy. I mean, like I say, I would play it. I didn't dislike Aeon's End, but again, it was that thing of what we're saying earlier about this is already doing something that's already been done.
Oh yeah, but you don't shuffle your discard pile.
Whoopee.
Yeah.
It's generic fantasy.
No, it's not.
Superheroes beats generic fantasy.
No.
Oh, come on. Avengers versus Aragon.
Don't compare something brilliant to something awful.
Yeah, but it's distinct superheroes versus generic fantasy.
Not for.
Like...
No, I get what you mean. No, I just think Aeon's End. If they did a Marvel Champions Marvel game with the Aeon's End system, that'd be fantastic. Mechanically, Aeon's End, I think he's
for the
brilliant.
most part.
But it fits
with Aeon's End. I find the portal thing a bit fiddly.
It's because you're preparing spells, and then next round they get cast.
Yeah, so
that wouldn't fit with the superhero. Yeah, you don't prepare spells and then.
Yeah, I enjoyed Aeon's End fine because at the end of the day, it's basically fantasy Sentinels. I think it's just the portal mechanic was a bit too fiddly for me. Therefore, I went. Yeah, kept with Sentinels. But no, if Aeon's End, if we're going to say right, we're going to spend this week playing Aeon's End Legacy. Yeah, perfect. I'll play it because I'd probably enjoy it.
Anyway, we got distracted by talking about legacy games and campaign games. Has anybody got any other questions for us about Essen itself?
Yeah. Well, they like to say is unfathomable. No,
I've got it, but I haven't tried it yet.
Have not. It's been popular around the local cons. I will play it because I was all right with BSG, even though I know nothing about the lore. But again, with a lot of games that you got to get reviewed in that, it's like, all right, so I need 6 players regularly who are going to learn these rules, play it for 3 hours. It's just not worth it. Yeah. it's
so let's talk about what we've got planned for the next week or so. So I can tell you what I'm doing.
Unbox a ton of Essen games.
Yeah. So I'm going to be getting home tomorrow. I'm going to
work.
You're going to work. I'm going to try and have a little bit of a rest, but I've got dozens of emails to go through and lots of bits of admin to do. There's a lot of GridCon stuff that still needs to be done, and I've got lots of rule books that I'm still working on. So this week, although I booked some time off to recover, I'll be working on the Batman Gotham City Chronicles rulebook. I'll be working on the ISS Vanguard rulebook, and we've got the very, very final tweaks to make to the Endless Winter rulebook before it finally goes off to print. Thursday and Friday, I have booked out in my calendar for Euthea. So I'm going to be relearning it on the Thursday, and I'm going to be filming 2 videos on the Friday. They are not going to be going live. They are videos that I'm filming in preparation for the relaunch of the Kickstarter campaign for Euthea. But that's my plans for this week. Gaming this week for you.
I was going to say mostly work because I got all that work, but I've got all those stuff to unbox. I got to run my Portsmouth Club on Wednesday as normal. When Friday night I'll meet up with some people. Weekend to spare, so in order to get some of these Essen games played, I'm probably going to try and say, right, people from my club, I'm going to dice for the day with a bunch of new Essen stuff.
Right.
Who wants to be the guinea pigs, which is generally how I get a lot of these reviewed quickly.
So Wednesday and Friday of this week, you might be playing some of your new Essen games.
Yeah, that's the hope. If not, I'll certainly book time on the weekend. But I do obviously, as well as that, have to really hurry up and get the last of the top 100 done because I've still got to do 30 through to 1. You know,
right.
So that's 3 videos plus a live stream to talk about the ones that didn't make the list.
Your top 10 is really, really easy.
How do you mean?
Well, it's 1816, 1817, 1830, 1831, 1862.
Well, don't forget 1833. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
No,
that's that easy.
No, that'll be fun. But like I say, that's 3 big videos I need to record because everybody is like snapping at me or something. So like, wait, where's the next bit of the top 100? It's like,
yeah. So you've got
those done.
You've got those to do.
They're going to be the highlight because I do need to hurry up and learn Chaos Order, the new Garphill Games area control game. Yeah, that giant box over there. Which, oh look. As much as I'm interested to play this, where's the...
I'm not a fan of the artwork.
I'm a fan of the artwork, but here we go. Players 2 to 5, 2 to 4 hours with a big rule book. So again, everything's got to be this big, grandiose, mammoth game. Why can't we just have a nice streamlined like game? But I've got to learn that soon because the Kickstarter is coming out. So at some point,
so you're doing a video. So you've been sent that as an advanced copy.
I've been sent that. I don't have to get it done before the Kickstarter.
Right.
But I preferably want to get it done before it ends.
Yeah.
But that does mean I need to review it and play. It'll probably be like a preview video rather than a full review of that one, unless I can get it played a lot, or maybe I'll do first impressions. Like I'll play it twice and do the first impressions or something. But yeah, that top 100 free videos for that in the live stream, and then with those gone, I'll be able to not only get back to some top 10s, but also get on with reviewing all the Essen stuff before the end of the year, and hopefully have enough for a top 10 list.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've already decided that 2022. I'm planning on taking. I mean, I sort of said I'm going to take the whole of November and December off. There's no way I can actually do that because I've got to earn some money. But I will plan next year to take at least 50% of November and 50% of December. And the reason for that is I'm coming home with 15 to 20 new games from Essen. And I already know that some of them aren't going to get played until February or even March. And that makes me sad. I don't want to be sat here on these new titles that I've brought home and me get to March and still not having played some. But that's the reality because I'm already fully booked for November, fully booked for December. I've got Perseverance videos to do in February, in January. And I'm like, so next year, I'm going to try and book off a lot of time in November and December. And I will just be producing content supported through Patreon next year. Well, this year it's going to be a while before you see all of the new games.
This is why I do that. I do the top 10 at the end of the year. I don't want to get out for the time, but then that's why like 6 months later I'll do the retrospective top 10 because it still probably takes a good 6 months to play some of the games that weren't at Essen or couldn't get done or didn't release until the very end of the year because it's impossible to do it unless you are the Dice Tower and do it full time with a group of 20 people at your beck and call. So it's already on there.
Mark is asking me what am I bringing on Thursday.
I'm guessing that's your club or game night, is it?
Is it the Crumbbook group this Thursday?
You tell me. It's your club.
It's not my club. It's Mark's club.
Well, you tell me. You go to it.
Have I forgotten
any game that you missed its spiel that was supposed to be there before it just ran off the chat?
Bonfire expansion.
Oh, whoop-de-doo. But I'm thinking probably Seven Wonders Architect because that was only there in German because Repost Production was not there. So I didn't want to buy a German copy and I couldn't demo it. I want to play it because I love Seven Wonders and Seven Wonders Duel. So I'm hoping this spin-off will not just be a weird skin version of Seven Wonders and actually have something half decent with it, but obviously not at the show. And I really want to try that out. So hopefully we'll get the English copy.
I've just checked my calendar. I'd like to change what I said I'm doing this week.
Would you like to actually show people that screen?
No.
Why?
Oh, why?
Well, because people can get an idea of just how convoluted your life is. David Turtsey would be proud of your calendar.
Okay, I'll very quickly.
I like David. I love David Turksy, all right. Just like I say, complexity is his thing. So.
Arkham Horror LCG Wednesday night. So Wednesday night, assuming I'm fit and healthy, we should be continuing our Arkham Horror LCG. And Thursday, I will be going to the new Cranbrook Gaming Group. So Mark's got a very good question. Yeah. Which of the games am I going to bring this Thursday? Right now.
If you actually remember what you're doing. Do you want me to go get my good food calendar off the wall? That's blank this week.
Right. So the ones that I physically have with me are Butoku, Ark Nova, Golem, and Messina 1347. All of them are heavy games.
Yeah.
I will bring all 4 of them, but they are not games which are suitable for anybody who isn't really into gaming.
We'll hopefully bring all 4.
But I'm not going to have time to read all of the rule books for all of them, and I don't feel comfortable sitting there and learning any of them from the rule book. So I'm going to have to decide which of those 4 games I want to play, and then I'm somehow going to have to read the rule book beforehand. But I'm already booked out all of Thursday. So it might be that I just bring them for you to look at, but I don't actually get to play any of them.
Maybe you only take 3. You're a heavy sleeper, right?
When you say heavy sleeper,
as in you wouldn't notice Ark Nova or something disappear.
I might.
I mean, Ark Nova makes a substitute for a fuel bill. So
yes, that is true.
It's about the same.
So Ricky's asking me if I'm not learning new theatre. No, that's what I'm doing. So
I like Jeremy's concept. So David Jeremy's lifestyle is a 4.75 on the weight scale of PGG.
So Thursday morning, I'm learning Euthea. Thursday afternoon, Paul Snuggs is coming round and we're playing Euthea in order to fully learn it. Thursday night is the Cranbook group, and then Rick's coming out, and then I'm doing Euthea solo Friday afternoon, and then I'm doing Euthea 2-player. The actual video on Friday night.
Week.
Yeah. Euthea is Thursday and Friday this week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what games I can get played on the Wednesday. I mean, Friday, if I'm going to go visit my mates, we probably would play Golem and Red Cathedral because those are the 2 games that have been requested by them.
Yeah.
Wednesday depends on whether, because the thing is with my Portsmouth club, I try to take a game that I want to play there, but I run the club and I want new people to come in. And we've had a lot of new members turn up, both male and female, which is great, and very diverse group now.
Yeah.
But if they turn up, especially at the last minute, and they need a table, I can't be the jerk that says, sorry, I want to play this Essen heavy game. I'll put you over there or something. You know, it's like, no, I've got to welcome them in. And I tend to have to go, right, well, come on this table. I'll put this one away. I'll find the 6-player one.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, I've got some higher player ones that are light games in there. So I'll probably take some of them along.
Yeah.
You know, and should be fine. Unfortunately, I won't have Picture Perfect for another month or so, probably. And that would have been ideal to take along.
Yeah. David had a question about, do you need to speak German in Essen? But it's been answered in the chat. And no, you don't need to.
No, it helps, but you don't.
Does it help?
Well, at times it depends who you talk to. It certainly helps in Subway restaurants.
That's true.
That's my anecdote. Yeah, you're talking about your like meeting 2 designers. My anecdote was that I went to get a Subway sandwich while they were playing Ark Nova. Poor girl behind there, teenage girl, couldn't speak very much English, so barely understood what I was saying. Obviously, I have not done German since GCSE, so I can't speak enough German. But then an Albanian next to me with his mate was ordering in German and translated my entire order, including what veg and stuff I wanted, to the girl in German.
Yeah.
So basically, an Englishman is trying to speak to a German girl with an order being translated in German by an Albanian. I've never felt so ashamed to be British in my life.
We're just rubbish at other languages.
Yeah, we barely speak our own language, particularly us 2 from the West Country.
Exactly.
Again, who have our own sub-language, farmer language.
I wouldn't have said I'm from the West Country.
Well, how long have you been in Devon compared?
10 years.
That's good enough. Okay, it's not 37.
But I don't have a tractor in my back garden like you do.
Hey, something's got to make something's got to get those apples. Right?
You can't take the tractor out.
You know, my fridge downstairs is I cleared my fridge before I left for obvious reasons. The only thing that was in that fridge when we got back was what I left it, which was 2 apples because I forgot to take them with me on the journey,
and some cans of Somerset
cider. And a bunch of Taunton and Cheppy cider. Yeah, it's like of course I couldn't take the cider with me, and I forgot to take the apples.
Yeah. There was a question about Messina. Did either of us find it too fiddly? I've not played it yet. I enjoy playing the game, but they did say that they found it a bit fiddly.
Yeah,
I think Jeremy's played it.
They were playing it next to you while you were playing Ark Nova.
Jeremy, Messina is fiddly, but it's totally manageable.
I hope it's manageable because I have bought it literally as a gamble because the theme doesn't interest me. The fact that somebody compared it to Underwater Cities on that level, I know it's not the same mechanic. In complexity level.
And when you say somebody, it was Vladisuhi that told me that.
Oh, right.
Because Vladu doesn't speak English. His wife speaks perfect English. So his wife translates. Well, so I asked him, where is Messina on the complexity
I think I bought it on the gamble because I knew it would sell out.
Right.
And €50, to be fair, was cheaper than half the other euros. So.
Yeah. Good price.
Wife speaks fluent German. I wish I could speak fluent German, honestly. But
I wish I could speak.
Even if I did
English.
Rosetta Stone German for the next year, the best I would be able to do is order my tapas at a restaurant or something.
Right.
It wouldn't exactly help me maintain a conversation with someone who was German.
Mark's got a very good question. In 5 years' time, which of this year's releases?
This year?
Bearing in mind, yeah.
This whole year? Are we talking Essen or just the whole year?
Okay, let's do. That's a good question for our end of year show. But which games from this year will we still be playing in 5 years? The thing is, with the gaming hobby, none of them. And that's not to say that some of the games that have come out this year are not brilliant. But in 5 years' time, because we're both influencers, content creators, whatever,
jerks,
we have to cover the new stuff as well. So we have a constant cycle of stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, I've still got like stuff on my shelf from like many years ago. I mean, you know, games on my shelf from like 2012, which is like one of the best years so far. You know,
yeah,
it has a lot of stuff. So it's not so much that, but
which ones? So which ones? Let's just talk about Essen titles. Which of the come on with? Bearing in mind some of them we haven't played yet. Do we think might still be being played? Maybe not by us.
I was going to say by us
at a convention in 5 years' time.
Because one of these said that in 5 years, which of these will you still be playing?
Oh, will we still be playing?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Personally, at this rate, none of them. Because I say none of them have got anything new specifically. I could find myself buying them, liking them, possibly giving them away because I already have something that's like them, or I keep them and then after a few years they kind of run their course.
See,
nothing's actually no. Voidfall doesn't count because that's not released till next year.
Voidfall doesn't count. I'm still playing Underwater Cities now.
Yes.
Now that's been.
I really like Underwater Cities though. Yes.
And I'm still playing Underwater Cities now.
And I reckon I would.
Will I still be playing Underwater Cities in 2 years' time?
I reckon so.
Yes, because it's online on Board Game Arena or Yucata or something.
No, I mean I'm physical games.
Yeah.
I mean,
but no, of this year's releases, honestly, don't know at the moment.
Yeah,
honestly don't know.
Nothing from. To be honest, nothing even from 2021 so far. I feel like I'm going to be playing in 2026. Actually, well, I don't know. Imperium is the closest thing, and even then, that depends on how much the length of that game grates after a while. Because I like it, still got it on my shelf, but it's like.
I mean, you know, it could be Bitoku. Bitoku could be absolutely fantastic. I could still be playing it in 5 years.
Yeah, we haven't played them all yet.
I've unboxed it, and that's it. Messina, don't know.
People mention about the tractor thing. There is actually a farming tractor simulator, I think, on Steam or something. So if you're that desperate, Paul could probably just play it on Steam and try it. There's lawn mowing simulators.
Lawn mowing simulator.
There is. There's one on there.
Right.
Yeah, you should totally try it. It's great.
The oldest game regularly plays Through the Ages. Yeah, I'm still playing Through the Ages now. So yeah.
Cosmic Encounter. Yeah.
Oh God, no.
Well, I mean, 1970s. I mean, yeah.
So there might be some games from this year's Essen that I'm still playing in 5 years' time. I really can't tell.
But yeah, none of it.
I don't even have a hunch.
What's I saying? Nothing from this year has blown me away so much that I could see myself keeping it on the shelf. Last year, games like Lost Ruins of Arnak, for example, did blow me away, and want to keep it, and I still have it. And same with Underfolding Skies. So I mean, I suppose a good variation to the question is it's 2021 now, so 2016. You'd have to probably look it up on your iPad to find out what came out in 2016.
It's quite difficult to get that information from BGG, I think.
No, it's not. You just put in an advanced search and just put in published 2016.
Okay, right. Let's do it.
But the interesting variation to that question is, 5 years ago was 2016. Which of those games?
Yeah, we'll do that. Playing? We'll do that now. So what am I doing? Browse.
So you want advanced search.
Is it?
It's
in here.
It's advanced search. And then where it has year released range, just put in 2016 in both boxes, and also click a box that says exclude expansions. Click not to search expansions, and we're good.
Okay,
right.
You can do this at home.
You can do this at home. Although, as Alpha Pooh said, oh god, yeah.
Scythe.
It did come out in 2016, didn't
What's
it?
that?
Right. Never mind. It's not important.
Scythe.
Right. So Scythe, still playing it now.
Are you?
Yep. Still I've got the legend. You're literally sitting in front of the legendary box.
Okay. Terraforming Mars, absolutely still playing it now.
Personally, no, but yeah, that is being played by people.
Arkham Horror, the card game.
Still playing it now.
We both love it.
Star Wars Rebellion. I don't get it played very often, but I still have it on my shelf.
Mansions of Madness 2nd edition.
It's up there in a big ground case.
Have you seen my rating of that?
You are a fool. you are a heretic. He's got it's free.
Great Western Trail.
Free.
Yes, I am still playing Great Western Trail.
9.5, a Great Western Yawnathon or whatever, and 3 for Mansions of Madness 2nd edition.
Yeah.
It's okay. You don't have to use the miniatures.
A Feast for Odin. I'm still playing that now.
Still playing it
Although
now.
I'm playing with Norwegian's expansion, I'm still playing Feast for Odin.
I was a slow burn to that one, so I didn't really get to it until about a couple of years later.
Right.
Clank, no. Mex vs. Minion, no.
Aeon's End first came out in 2016. I'm still playing Aeon's End.
Inish, I think I've still got Inish.
Yeah, but downstairs. Is it still being played?
No, because a lot of people won't play it with me.
Flamme Rouge. I'm still playing Flamme Rouge. 2016 was a brilliant year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not saying it was a bad year, although, I mean, I don't care too much about Terraforming Mars and Great Western Trail, but 2016 was a decent year.
2016 was a great year. So, yeah, I'm still playing Flamme Rouge.
Flamme Rouge. I haven't played Star Trek Ascendancy. Cry Havoc sort of came and went.
Yeah.
Nobody plays Vast anymore. I don't play One Deck Dungeon. The others is niche. Sushi Go Party doesn't really count because that's just I mean, I still play it now, but that doesn't count. Role Player, still play that.
Role Player is still played.
Still got the big box there.
Yokohama was a great game.
Nobody plays that.
Lorenzo.
Actually, does anybody play Yokohama anymore?
Somebody contacted me the other week and watched my video.
I don't see it played often, but I know some people own it. Sadly, Lorenzo is still played 5 years later by people. Imhotep, I haven't played it in a while, but I've still got it on
Mystic Veil was also 2016.
It's been a while since I've
I'm still playing
on my shelf.
In fact, I'm actually planning on doing some Mystic Veil streams this week because I've got the digital version, and I don't want to go for 2 days without playing a game and doing a live stream. So yeah, I might have a little break over the next couple of days from sleeping and play some Mystic Veil.
I will play Spirit Island in 10 years' time. I can certainly find myself doing that as well.
Is Spirit Island?
I don't think it was 2016, but someone mentioned it in the chat. And it's like, I would definitely play Spirit Island in 5 years' time.
Anyway, without going through the whole list, that's a lot of games from 2016.
Yeah. So, but then there was a lot of games there that were big hits. So a few years ago, I could say, in 5 years' time, I'll still be playing them. But so far, even 2020 for a while was not going to be, I'll play this in 5 years' time. I had to do the retrospective list before I felt there was enough of them. Because when I did the original 2020 list, like the top 5 or 6 games were ones that I could rave about.
Right.
The bottom 4, I kind of had to fill up space, or like I don't play them anymore.
Yeah.
But the retrospective one is like, oh no, now I've got a serious set of 10, most of which are still in my collection.
Right.
But 2021, I'm worried about unless Essen blows me away, I'm worried about the top 10.
Right. Okay. I think we're almost done. I think it might be time to wrap things up because we've got to get that game of Ark Nova in before we go to bed.
Thank you for that. Yeah, the March. Oh man, this must be almost over. It just got here. Well, that's his decision, not mine.
Yeah, we're gonna
actually technically it should be my decision. I don't know if it's your channel, but it's my house.
We have been going for an hour and a half though.
Yeah, but we do this all the time.
That's true.
People are happy to watch us arguing much. It's like they want to watch 2 farmer gamers, argue with each other.
Digital versions keep older games alive.
That is
exactly right. There's more people playing through the ages on the app.
Well, yeah, because nobody plays it physical anymore. It's just too much.
Yeah.
We're still playing Battlestar Galactica, fine. 2015 would have been a different story. Yeah, true. That wasn't the best of years, 15. Yeah, some people's opinions on Spirit Island. Like I say, Spirit Island's one of my favorites. So yeah, I'll definitely be playing that in 5 years' time, app or physical. Same with Sentinels. Farmer Gamers. Yeah. well
I'm not happy being branded as a farmer.
You're in the West Country, you get branded as one. Even if it's Devon, it's gonna happen. I mean, that would be a funny live stream. Actually, we both need to play a farming game. I mean, maybe not Agricola, is not the biggest fan of it, but something like Caverna or Fields of All.
Fields of All.
Fields of All, 2 of us.
Yeah,
head to head or something. That would be the perfect farmers game.
I would say if we both put on a West Country accent.
I don't need to.
No, exactly. So I need to put on a West Country accent.
Yeah, you need to work harder at the R's. Me, literally, I will just literally be speaking the R accent. In fact, I'll even have a cider on stream just to make it work. That would be interesting.
Do you have Fields of All?
That's right. Yeah, right, there with the tea and tray.
Okay. Yeah, because that's if I was to do a top 5 of games that I should own. Fields of All would be in that top 5. Because I've played it 3 or 4 times, really, really like it.
Yeah, because if you like Feast, because I got Feast of Odin right below it, funny enough, that's the smorgasbord of options.
It, really like it, and then my contact at Z-Man was no longer at Z-Man, and I never bothered to find a new one.
We were happy to watch indeed. That was an awesome conversation. It ain't done yet. Started playing Agricola.
Oldest game that I still play regularly.
Because Cosmic Encounter doesn't get.
Well, for me, it's got to. For me, it would have to be Through the Ages. Although I'm playing the new version of Through the Ages, and I'm playing it on the app.
Yeah,
but the original Through the Ages was 2006.
I don't play
and I'm playing it regularly.
Anymore. Oldest game. Citadels would be a good first bet. 2000. I still play that pretty regularly at the cup. Citadels it's an easy one to teach. It's pretty much gateway role selection level, and because it can cater for 5 players, which is a horrible number I end up with a lot. That is probably I can't think of anything, because things like Catan and Cosmic Encounter I still like, but they don't get played anywhere near as often as Citadels does, and that is technically 2000.
Oh, Rick's got a very good point.
What's that?
Oldest game that I'm still playing now.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective originally came out in 1982.
That is true.
Now I'm playing cases that didn't come out yet, that only came out a couple of years ago.
It's still the same game.
The core game, 1982.
I have not. I think I've come so close to selling that game because I just don't know when I'll get around to finish it. I think I've got a couple. The brown one.
Okay, first one.
The brown one. Yeah, but it's not the first edition version. It was
no.
Space Cowboys new set. But the first one, I never bought any others because I still haven't finished them all in there.
Yeah.
But regularly, cool, blimey, no, I haven't played it in ages because it's like, right, when have I got 2 and a bit hours to spend with this one campaign by myself? It's hard to find it.
Yeah.
Still playing Catan. Ticket to Ride is 2004, so Citadels would outrank that one. 5 players is definitely quite annoying. I had to do a top 10 list of that to be half decent with that. I need to do one for 6.
Top 10 5-player games.
Yeah, I did one a while ago with that. I need to do one with top 10 6-player games.
Top 10 6-player games.
Because top 10 non-party 6-player games I need to do.
Top 10 non-party 6-player games.
Yeah, because you could. I mean, Dixit, Detective Club, Mysterium, and Obscurico. Right, brilliant. I could do. That's my that could be my top 4.
So it's easy.
It's easy to say party games because they're designed for that. I'm talking not necessarily Euro games, but just non-party for 6 people that I've had to use. Downforce would be a great example.
Coloma.
6-player. Yeah, that could work.
Get your games that take 6.
Yeah, say Downforce is probably one of my primary examples. 6 players, easy, does 6, works best at 6.
Yeah.
And that's not a party game.
Right.
So it's stuff like that. But when I'm done with the top 100, because I need to do those top 10 lists.
Age of Steam.
More ones.
No, not your thing.
No, definitely not.
6.
And I need to get back to the collaborations because I've got to do the top 10 games that aged well. Oh, yeah, funny enough, we're talking about games we play in 5 years.
Yeah.
The next collaboration is with Chairman of the Board, of which will probably be later this October, and we're doing top 10 games that aged well. So that's a good one. He wanted to do versatile list as an alternative.
How far back are you going?
We are at the moment saying that it's got to be a minimum 10 years.
Yeah, because we did Puerto Rico on the channel a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I believe Puerto Rico has stood the test of time.
It's got to be at least 10 years old. And then other than that, we can do our own caveats, of which my caveat needs to be that it's not being played purely because the expansion has made it better.
So when did you start gaming? Like seriously gaming?
Seriously gaming would have been 7 years back. Like seriously, I mean, I've gamed most of my life, but if we're talking modern board game serious,
7 years.
Here's my Calyx shell.
Because I've known you for probably 6.
Oh yeah, I mean, I got to know you pretty shortly after I started.
Right. So how are you going to be able to do a top 10 video on games that have aged well when the game has to be 10 years ago or more?
well, I'm having to base it on release date.
Yeah.
I mean, I still get your point.
You get what I mean?
I mean, there are games I played before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, like Citadels.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Citadels I played through university times and stuff like that.
But you've not played Puerto Rico?
Not before I started gaming, no. I mean, it's a weird one, but then I'm sort of going by release date as well, in a sense.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Ticket to Ride came out in 2004, and I could still play Ticket to Ride now.
Right, gotcha.
Like, even like nearly 20 years later, I still play the game and have fun with it.
Yeah. So you look at the release date and then look at ones that you have played.
Yeah, ones that I've played, look at their release date. I mean, I get what you mean. Yeah, I haven't physically 10 years old.
You didn't play them 10 years ago, and
Yeah, some of them I have. I'm pretty sure I played Ticket to Ride before I started gaming one. But I mean, I get your point. I say he wants to do the list. I gotta try something.
Yeah.
It breaks the whole list. Failing that, you can just look at Chairman of the Board's top 10. We got Make My 2 Years, amateurish. Might be more coming from the Colonists.
Dominant Species for 6, Libertalia for 6, Colt Express for 6. If these weren't on your list,
Colt Express is far too random with too many players. It's already a random game. The 6 is just I shuffle
So
my
it's not
deck.
a party game, but it wouldn't be on your list because it's too random.
It's not a party game, no, because it's just a little bit of fun. But Cult Express is very random. Any 6 players, I just shuffled a deck of cards. There is no point planning your turn.
Right.
What else did you mention? Dominant Species.
Yeah.
If I liked it more, yes.
Dominant Species with 6, I've only ever done once and was amazing.
Because most fans of it will say it should be played with 6. I probably agree with that. If it wasn't for the fact that it took over 4 hours and had the programming mechanic, I would probably like it more. But then I love Dominant Species Marine, but that caps at 4.
Yeah.
So
Meters in the chat. Missed you this year. Hope to see you there next year.
Ethnos. I burnt out on Ethnos.
Okay.
It's rinse repeat, but that does work good with 6.
Right. Okay.
You know, that could be there. Libertalia. I don't think I agree with that one. I burnt out on Libertalia quite quick, but also it's the randomness thing.
Yeah.
You've got to program those cards there. With 6 of you, a lot of the times you might as well just shuffle your card because it's like you just cannot predict the outcome of 5 other players.
Rick makes a good point.
What's that?
Chess came out a long time ago, but he didn't play it when it came out. But it's still being played now.
Good. Yeah, I'm nicking that. I'm nicking that. It's more like Texas Hold'em poker. I didn't play that in
1760. Prodigal Son said Lancaster at 5 is fantastic. Yeah, Lancaster at 5. Have you played Lancaster?
I have. It's all right.
Lancaster at 5 is fantastic.
Like I say, it was another Euro.
To the point where if I have fewer than 5 people, I probably won't play Lancaster. Lancaster is one of my 5. If 5 people come around and they all want to play a game, Lancaster is probably
it's a mean one, so I liked it okay, but I didn't go back to it. But yeah, if you want that meanness factor of Lancaster, then you play it with 5. But 6, I wonder if that is it you guys just regained an hour and you go aren't you guys tired? Funny enough, the more I talk on the stream, the less tired I am. Eldritch Horror 10 years old, that's although aged well, I'd be hard pressed to say Eldritch Horror at age well.
You think things have moved on?
Well, it had 1 billion expansions.
Yeah.
Would you play the base set of Eldritch Horror with nothing in it at this point?
I don't think I've ever played Eldritch Horror.
True, but I mean, in the Arkham Horrors, they have so many expansions.
No,
would you just play the base set now?
I avoided Arkham Horror 1st edition and Arkham Horror 2nd edition. I'd potentially play 3rd, but
yeah, true. But then I don't think Arkham Horror 3rd edition is going to age well.
No.
No. Captain Sonar is definitely 8. Yeah, I mean 6 doesn't work with that. Scythe with 6, yes, that could work. 7 Wonders, actually, I don't subscribe to 7 Wonders being best at higher player counts because a lot of people will go, we've got 7 players, let's play 7 Wonders.
5 for me.
I would cap it at the very most 5, if not, I prefer it with 3 or 4 because the thing with a lot of drafting games when you max them out and the card size, the hand size doesn't increase. Especially, let's take 7 Wonders as the example. You only have those 7 cards. If you play with 6 or 7 people, say goodbye to the rest of your hand.
Right.
You know, you played this one card. Anything else you see that could have helped you is gone. And that was basically just a crapshoot.
Yeah.
But with 3 or 4 players with a lot of drafting games, particularly 3, you choose the card and you think, there's a good chance this one will come back round. I don't reckon they'll take it. I don't reckon they'll take it. So let me take this one first. Hope it will come back round.
Yeah.
Does oh good, I love it now.
Whereas with 7 it doesn't come back.
You can't, yes, and that works for me in a lot of drafting games. Not to mention in 7 Wonders, as I say, when you play it above 3 players, every extra player is just superfluous at that point. So Empire's Age of Discovery, I've not played that.
Acquire, brilliant game.
I've not played that one.
I went back to Acquire about probably about 2 years ago. It was pre-lockdown. There were 6 of us, and we decided we were going to play a 6-player game. So I went upstairs, I found Acquire, and I brought it down. And I went, "It's a bit of an old game."
Yeah, I'm pretty certain.
Do you want to give it a go? Really enjoyed it.
Pretty certain I've not played it.
Really enjoyed it. Sidereal Confluence must be madness with 6. It was madness with 5.
Yeah, I mean,
it would be even more madness with 6. But
I finally got to play it the other.
You did?
Yeah, because I haven't done a podcast episode since for what I played. But yes, I have finally been taught Sidereal Confluence with 5. 6 would be the absolute max I would play that game with because oh my god, it would be just chaotic.
Yeah.
And I like it fine. I want to play it some more, try out the other races. It didn't blow me away, but I'd still endorsement it 7 or 8 or something. Probably a 7.
Yeah.
It depends on the group. Random 7, mates 8.
Right.
It needs people you know.
Harold, good to see you, Harold.
I thought you said how old.
No, Harold. Pillars of the Earth with expansion for me.
Does it?
5. So Pillars of the Earth base game, I don't like to play with 4 because I don't believe there's enough spaces on the board, and 3 I think is the best number. With the expansion, I think 5 is the best number because I don't think there's enough spaces for 6.
I think 4 is pretty good with Pillars. It has that tension bit. You're more wanting to spend all the money to go first. Although I've not played the expansion because it hasn't existed for donkey years. But when we were talking about games that aged well, Pillars of the Earth would actually be a pretty good contender.
It would.
Because I've played it with the expansion. I still have it on my shelf, and I still want to play
funny story. The last time I played Pillars of the Earth on the channel was because it was voted on by patron supporters as every couple of months I do a cult of the old game.
Yeah.
And I put up a whole list of games and patron supporters vote on which one they wanted to see. And I did Pillars of the Earth.
Yeah.
Nick and Gemma came round, who've never played Pillars of the Earth. We played Pillars of the Earth.
It's a light year, I mean.
At 11 o'clock the next morning, they had a copy of Pillars of the Earth delivered to them. So basically, they drove home from my house on the Friday night, and on the way home, they ordered it from Amazon.
And somehow,
and at 11 o'clock the next morning, there it was.
Even Amazon.
Then they 3 times that day. By the end of Saturday, they said, "Oh, thanks very much for teaching us Pillars of the Earth last night. We now have a copy, and we've played it 3 times." This is less than 24 hours after that.
I don't know how Amazon delivered that quick. I know they are not that. But
they live opposite an Amazon collection and delivery center.
Right, that makes sense because it's like even their same day delivery can't do it that quick. But but that could work. I mean, Pillars of the Earth is still as good as it was back then.
Pillars of the Earth is definitely an older game that has aged well. It is brilliant.
It's still really good.
And another funny story. I bought Pillars of the Earth purely because the game board looked gorgeous. I knew I was at Essen. I saw it. I saw the game board. I went, that game looks fantastic. I bought it. This was in the days where I was just buying games because they look nice.
I'd probably be quite similar, really, because this was when I was discovering Michael Menzel as an artist and going, his boards are gorgeous. I suppose the bigger reason I played Pillars of the Earth, though, is because at the time I started doing it, obviously Dice Tower was the first load of videos I was watching, so I was obsessed with the top 10s. And at that point, Pillars of the Earth was turning up on a lot of lists because it was suitable for their topics.
Vicky's going to bed, so I will say goodnight. And I will see you tomorrow.
Good night, Vicky.
And don't forget to leave the keys under the doormat. And the alarm code is 1234. Thank you very much. Right.
And don't forget to enforce all your laws upon Paul. The cat has spoken.
Oh, I thought Thor and Loki are going to be. When I turn up in the afternoon, they're going to be like, "Who are you?"
I did actually question because he mentioned about Thor and Loki earlier, and I thought, "What on earth are you on about?" And I forgot that's your cat's name.
That's my cat's name. Yes.
I haven't been around your house in ages, and to be honest, if I did, I'd probably stop playing half the games and just play around with your cats because I love cats. But awkward guess, not with 6. It can work with 6, but it's better with less players. It's just a lot. It's like I say, it's superfluous people at that point. Mission Red Planet 6-player game. Yes, that would definitely be on
not played it.
Mission Red Planet, basically Citadels 2.0, so role selection with a area control.
Right.
Except you have the 9 cards each. It's not a separate set of 8 that you pick one from.
Okay.
So I suppose it's got some similarity to Concordia with the hand management, but that one, works brilliantly at 6. Right. It doesn't take any longer to play at all because the role selection is simultaneous. And and the area control is kind of done at that point.
Right.
So the game is still speedy even with 6.
Okay.
Lords of Vegas, not played that in ages. I can't quite remember. Michael Menzel. Yeah, Michael Menzel, if he does a board. Like Terra Mara, actually, you mentioned about Pillars of the Earth and that. Yeah. Terra Mara, I wouldn't have looked at twice if it weren't with that title and the box cover if I didn't notice that Michael Menzel, I can't remember, he didn't design it, but if I didn't see that he was the board artist.
Right, okay.
And then I played it, demoed it, and it's like, that blew me away, and now it's one of my favorite Euro games.
Yeah.
But as soon as I thought, well, whatever, generic, playing it, wait a minute, Michael Menzel. And if you look at the Terra Mara board with all that, it is gorgeous.
Janeway wants to know, have we played Hansa Teutonica with 5? I think I have. I haven't recently, but I have played Hansa Teutonica a few times in the past before the new edition, and I think I might have played it with 5.
I can answer that easily. No.
Have you ever played it?
Yes.
Yeah, have. Yeah.
Yes. In the first year when I started gaming, I was introduced to it at the Portsmouth Club and that, and I'm glad to say I have not played it since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not your kind of game. Not your kind of game.
Not my game. Not interested at all. Civilization. I've got the 2010 version and a New Dawn on the shelf.
No. They're talking old Civilization.
Oh, that Civilization.
That Civilization.
Right.
I think they're talking that.
Pillars made me read the book. Oh, blimey, yeah, no, as I don't care about the story of Pillars.
I'm the same as you, Tony. Pillars of the Earth. So I don't read. Vicky read the book. I listened to the audiobook, and then we watched the TV series, and that was all from the game. And it's a good book, and the TV series was very good as well. Eddie Redmayne, before he was famous, he was one of the main characters in
before Theory of Everything and
in
all
TV
that,
series. So yeah, Pillars of the Earth is a great story. Really, really good book.
I've never had enough time to read the books. I mean, I had a phase, and I had a phase when I was going through audio file. Was it called audio something? The audio
Audible.
books. Audible, yeah. I had a phase when I was doing that, mostly for Doctor Who novelizations, and to be fair, there's a few right now I wouldn't mind listening to. But never mind, I need to buy a new DVD. When I was doing the audiobooks, I did like some of the Lord of the Rings stuff. I wouldn't have time for the audiobooks now. So even though I'm looking forward to actually watching the new Dune movie, for example, being a noob to Dune, I've got no interest in reading the Dune books, regardless of the games that I play.
Yeah.
4 or 5 is best. But I mean, yeah, I don't like Hansa Teutonica, but the game is about controlling. Yeah, but it's about controlling areas, and
you're absolutely right.
So of course it's going to be best with 5.
3 is a bit too loose. 4 or 5 is good.
Yeah, those games you're designed to have the most people in. And to be fair, I've got things like Viral in the other room, light area control. It is best with the most players, because it tightens up the area control. I read the book. I mean, Pillars of the Earth, what story does it have? I mean, like I say, for me, it was just generic medieval.
So the book's amazing. It tells a story over a number of generations. And what you see in the game is you turn a card over and it's got some flavor text on it.
Yeah.
That flavor text is from something that happened in the story. There is no story in the board game. It's just the cards have a little bit of narrative, which is
I've seen those, and they are
like the cathedral collapses or something. They're all things that happen in the book.
Winner's Circle, that's a good one with
Not
6. Old game that was reprinted by Dice something games. I can't remember. It was like Dice Tree Games or something. It was a shiny copy. I gave it to my parents because the only time I play it was with the family. But you basically just like roll dice and race horses and bet on them and stuff like that. So it's a light horse racing game, but with 6, it's I don't know. There's more chaos going around with 6, so it feels more like a horse race. But there's a lot of downtime with 6.
Genway's asking, not Genway, Joel, isn't there another game linked to Pillars of the Earth? Yeah, so I've got the first game, Pillars of the Earth, with the expansion. I've got the second game in the series, which is World Without End. And then
does anybody play that game?
It's Joseph said it's underrated. I agree. I've played it a few times, and World Without End, I think, is a good, solid game, and it's very different from Pillars of the Earth.
Okay.
There is a third one in the series which came out a couple of years ago, which I think is called Pillars of Fire. Which
that came and went even more.
It came even when it just came, went, disappeared. I've not played it. Don't know anything about it. I probably want it to complete the trilogy.
And what about the new? Oh no, the new one's not Pillars of the Earth. That's a different.
No, the new one is
the Cosmos one.
Is a
very different. Doom books are a good read. I mean, my friend Gemma is actually reading the books herself. She's made some interesting comments about them, and I have to admit, the idea that they were written in the 60s, so some of their language and the way they depict people in it is like maybe not my thing.
Meta says it's Column of Fire, not Pillars of Fire.
That makes sense.
Column of Fire. There we go.
What about Gale Force 9's Doom with 6 players? We played it recently. Yes, it is best with 6, but there's too much swinginess and it's too long for me to want it. I want to play their new streamlined version. Cerebria
with 6.
It works with 6. I would rather play 2v2.
I'd rather play 4. Yeah. It's just too much.
1v1, 2v2, 2v2v2 is a little bit long and winded.
Okay, Joseph says the third game wasn't good. The third in the Pillars of the Earth series.
So not the World Without End one.
No.
All right, I'd have to try World Without End. I didn't even give it a second glance because nobody else was giving it a second glance.
What game made you really start the hobby? Now you've said the word really there. So I started gaming in the 80s, and along with playing Dungeons and Dragons and fighting fantasy books, some of the early games that I played were Acquire, 1830, Axis and Allies, and Advanced Civilization. They were the games which I was playing in the 80s, but I wouldn't have classed myself as a board gamer then. I played those games, I enjoyed those games, but I was a role player. D&D was my main focus. I dabbled with war games and everything else. Then I got involved in Magic the Gathering, and that completely took over my life. When I gave up Magic the Gathering in 98, 99, I went back to board games, and it was 98, 99, which is when, and ever since then, board games have been my serious thing. Would I have gotten into board games if I hadn't have played those earlier games in the 80s? I don't know, but yeah, they are some of the earliest
it'd be similar
games that I played.
It'd be similar. I've done a lot of stuff. I mean, board games I've done throughout my life with the family, and it's been the old school stuff. School life was CCGs, so I was playing anything for not necessarily Magic the Gathering. No, it was more things like Alien Predator. The Star Wars related ones, the Star Wars Decipher game. I was playing a lot of those. Then there was a phase I was doing RPGs. Then there was a phase I was doing Warhammer /40k and the skirmish games. So they've gone on. Magic the Gathering was my university phase, and also that was taking up a bit of time and money. Board games featured in now and again at university, but they would have been some of the Steve Jackson random titles. Although Citadels did feature, because I was at university 2002, so Citadels was actually relatively new at that point. But Seven Wonders would be the game to answer his question.
That's the game that
because there was a period between like university and that where the only games I would play was the stuff of the family. Didn't know much about the modern board game stuff. But then when I decided I need to meet new people, I need to, I'm getting lonely in my house. I thought, right, what do I kind of like? Well, board games. All right, is there anything like that? I looked on meetup.com basically. Found the club run by someone else back then, and the first game I got shown for that was a 7-player Seven Wonders with leaders thing. Because I said, do you play a lot of games? It's like, well, I've played games most of my life. I can handle what rules you throw at me. Not knowing just how heavy some of these games would get, but still, I thought whatever. And it's like, it's okay. I'll pick it up quick. And same thing I do with every game. Pick a route, go with it, see what happens. So I look at my leaders, all the ones. I get 2 guys at red, cheap reds and points for red. So I went full on military. Beat all of them senseless. But as soon as I say and won the game, but that was the first game.
That was the turning point.
It was the turning point where I went, this was cool, show me more.
I think that were around in 98, 99, which brought me fully into the hobby. Usurper, Primordial Soup. Usurper is the German name. Primordial Soup is the English name for it. Which
Supper sounds a little bit better, but
Doris and Frank designed that. That was one of the games that I remember. But then very soon after that, it was Ra. It was Princess of Florence. It was those games from the sort of late 90s. Tikal was one of the first games that I played. I think that was 98. So
there's another one. I was at the TC meeting, noticed the Dragon Ball Z. Oh yeah, I used to play that. Did I used to play the Dragon Ball? Yes, I did. Oh god, I used to play that CCG. The Power Creep, one of the worst games of Power Creep. It's like, oh yeah, I'm playing with this is good. And like you go in the earlier sets, you could have like Krillin and a few of the other ones. You know how underpowered they are. The future sets, and you've got like Margin Vegeta and Perfect Cell or something. And it's just like, how on earth are you playing Krillin versus Perfect Cell? You actually know anything about Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah.
I was going to say, you're just nodding your head.
I'm just nodding my head and reading the chat.
Watch more anime.
I don't know what.
Watch more anime.
I don't know what you're talking about at all.
Basically, stupidly powerful versus complete idiot. So, and watch more anime.
El Grande Hunter. So Hunter's not a game. Yeah, that was a game when when I talked about the games that I played in the 80s. Hunter was one of them. And that's when I realized. Well, I say that's when I realized. I realized at that point, I don't like these games where you have to negotiate and talk to other players, and how well you do is based on how well you can trash talk other players and persuade them to. No, I'm not into that sort of game at all. And I still dabbled with a few of them because that's what other people did.
Probably the opposite.
I don't want to do that whole. Oh, I'll give you this to do that. I know if you do that, and then I'll backstab him, and I'm going to lie to you. It just. Just makes me really uncomfortable.
Games like Illuminati and even Cards Against Humanity, I'm ashamed to admit, or something I do remember playing at uni, and that probably got me more into that. Oh yeah, I do like doing the banter games. Like I want to like do those ones. Shogun and Wallenstein. Maybe. I mean,
Wallenstein. I remember that when it came out, and then it was rebranded.
The Eat and Poop game, whether it I mean, I miss some of those dead CCGs up to this day. Now that I did use to play, I mean, Aliens Predator could seriously have done with a slight rules revamp. But man, did we enjoy playing that?
So Paolo's just reminded me a story. You might not know this, Paolo, but I have used your story a number of times because, like many gamers in our position, we have our own thoughts on the game Munchkin. Specifically, that it's an absolutely awful, terrible game. It's badly designed. It doesn't work properly.
Yeah, it wasn't our faults though. Back at university when we were doing some of the Steve Jackson games.
But Paolo Renato, great guy, super nice guy, friend and patron supporter. The guy who does all of Rado's subtitles would not be in the hobby if it weren't for Munchkin.
Which is fair enough. And he does Rado's subtitles.
And that has changed my opinion of Munchkin ever since you told me that story.
I mean, like I say, nowadays I would never
brought Paolo into the hobby.
I would never blame Munchkin now.
No.
But we played it back at university because we played a few of the ones like Ninja Burger and Illuminati and stuff and Steve Jackson games. Yeah. A friend of ours had those.
I used to demo for Steve Jackson games.
So
like I've done for CG now.
Yeah.
I did that for Steve Jackson games.
Nowadays I still think the game is really bad and it's like no more humor, but yeah, it's a bit like certain other old games. I can't deny the impact they had.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't like Magic the Gathering or something, to turn around and say what impact did it have?
Exactly. And I think Munchkin has had a positive effect. As much as I hate the game,
people still play it, and people
enjoy
and they keep
it,
making versions,
and that's fine if they enjoy it. But
Munchkin Marvel and all that stuff.
But it's brought other people into the hobby.
Yeah, say I die inside when the friends. Well, to be fair, nobody wants to bring it out anymore. But yeah, which is kind of good. But yeah, say it did its job. Scotland Yard in the 80s. Yeah, that's a
game. So Rick, very good friend of mine who lives very close to me. Now. When we first met, which is going back 4 years or so ago now, when Rick started coming to the Clumpton Games group. And I said, so are you a gamer? Do you got games? And Rick said, oh yeah, I've got loads of games at home, and he showed me a photo. My face must have dropped
when you saw Munchkin.
Well, yeah, but to be fair.
And so he wasn't allowed back at the club for a while.
I'm an elitist jerk when it comes to games.
Yes.
Right?
So
when I have spent 4 days in Essen, and while I'm waiting on the underground, I look at people's bags and I look at what games are in those bags to decide whether I want to go and talk to them or not. Now that sounds worse than it is, but because I don't just randomly go and talk to people because I was going to say you talk to people on the underground, yeah. But if I see in the bag he's got Lost Ruins of Arnak or Origins First Builders or right, and then he's got Golem. I've seen those 3 games in his bag. I've got something in common and I feel comfortable talking to them. Right. And I'll go over and I'll chat and I'll say, oh, have you played any of these? Whatever.
But if they're like Munchkin or something.
If I looked across and I saw Munchkin, Star Munching, Munchkin Cthulhu, I wouldn't speak to them. And that's not that, as I say, this sounds
they wouldn't be able to hear you from the top of your ivory tower.
This sounds a lot worse than it is. And it's not that they are any lesser human beings. What I'm saying is I don't have anything in common with them, and I would feel uncomfortable in going up and saying, have you had a good day at the show? What games have you played?
Okay.
I would feel uncomfortable in doing that when somebody has those types of games in a bag. Whereas if they've got games,
invalidate the question.
No, but if they've got games in the bag, which are games that I know and know the same thing, I feel more comfortable in speaking to them. Anyway, I hope that didn't come across as bad as it sounded.
Well, to be fair, I'd probably be the same with 18XX gamers.
Exactly. If somebody's there and they've got a bag of 18XX games,
I wouldn't want to talk to them.
You wouldn't want to talk.
No, because I'd be bored.
Exactly.
Yeah, they talk about trains.
They talk about trains all the time. Anyway, there we go. This isn't going out live, is it? I can edit this bit out later.
Probably mostly elitist jerks concerning board games. Yeah, quite possibly. As I say, it kind of comes with the thing. Ave Caesar, and technically even Downforce could count because that's been re-implemented under times. 10 cards of 10 different sets you come to. Oh, right, that's something else. Don't excuse yourself. Totally love Robinson Crusoe. Oh yeah, this is why Paul doesn't talk to me anymore. I was going to say, how long did you ban him from your club when you saw he had Munchkin?
Only 3 months.
Only 3 months. Yeah. And then losing subs as we speak. He's like, why is the funds gone down? And, and then he said he was a patron and suddenly was invited back.
Yeah.
So, which makes sense.
Yeah. Now, when Rick used to come round and until he'd agreed to get rid of Munchkin, I basically had to write things on a piece of paper, give it to Vicky. Vicky would read it out to Rick because I just didn't want to speak to him.
Essentially, toss a coin to your Witcher, and you were all right there.
I mentioned Origins First Builders, and look who's just popped in the chat. I cast my Summon Rainer spell.
Or Rainer, yeah.
Thank you for popping in. Yeah, I was just talking about Origins First Builders.
I was actually quite surprised you mentioned it actually, when you were trying to use it as an example.
Well, I'm trying to think. I think they were the 3 games that he had in the back.
Right.
That was a real situation.
You haven't played Origins?
Yeah, I've done a video on it.
Oh yeah, of course.
2 videos on it. Yeah. So
yeah, I'm the one who still needs to play it. Yeah. I said I hated party games, but it was all I ended up playing at UKGE. Well, was it? Don't think so. We were at UKGE. You played some of my games, although you did have to go off a few times with other people. But I didn't, apart from possibly Mysterium, I didn't show you any specific party games to my knowledge.
I think I'm similar to Jonathan in that I spent many, many years saying, I don't play party games. I don't like party games. And I didn't.
Yeah.
And then Codenames happened, Mysterium happened, Just One happened. Give me some other ones that I like.
Letter Jam?
Letter Jam. No, I don't think Letter Jam's a party game. Letter Jam's 45 minutes and quite hard work.
True.
But anyway, those games came out, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay. So the reason why I used to say I don't like party games is because I had a view that party games were
silly or for kids.
Not necessarily for kids, but in the Cards Against Humanity area. In other words, these are just throwaway games. They're not clever. There's nothing. You know, you're not having to think. There's no decisions. You might as well just throw a ball at the wall. It's just a time-consuming exercise to have a laugh. Whereas the party games that I actually like are party games where you still have to think. So Codenames, Just One, Mysterium. There's something to them.
Would you like Time's Up then?
I love Time's Up.
I was going to say, you got to think in that. That's a pretty old school style
Time's Up
party
is fantastic.
Game. Like that's been, but then, I mean, there's other, as you know, categories and stuff wouldn't be party games.
No.
I mean, you kind of have to think to an extent. You got to be imaginative and stuff like Boulder Dash.
Yeah, don't do that. No, nothing like that.
But anyway, the thing is, although that's sort of some other people that are because they'll say like, oh, so you know all this young stuff, but then suddenly when you mention Codenames, it's like, you know, the party games are beneath us. I shall be playing Codenames from Vlad the Sabato, and that's apparently okay, even though Codenames has miles less laughter than any other party game in existence. At least Just One has laughter.
Yeah. Codenames, the party game of silence.
Yeah.
As one guy tries to sit behind the screen going, oh my God.
Because you don't count, you said you don't count a Letter Jam as a party game.
No.
I therefore do not count Codenames as a party game.
But Codenames is simple to teach and takes 15 to 20 minutes.
Except you have to think like crazy and it's done in silence.
Okay.
You can't, I mean, something like, for example, Detective Club.
Right.
Love the bits. That's a party game.
Okay.
You've got to be imaginative with like thinking on the fly and bluffing, but at the end of the day, you're putting out picture cards and trying to justify why the clues meet it or who the spy is in the middle. It's a bit like Spyfall in that regard. I mean, I've loved party games regardless of most of it because, like I say, having a laugh is the outcome of it. Telestrations, pure party game.
I played that with you.
Yeah, we played it at your place.
That is one of those ones where it was just silly fun.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it for silly fun.
Yeah, but then that's what party games should be, the silly fun.
Yeah.
If they, I mean,
I think
Just One is also kind of a weird borderline because technically I suppose it is a party game.
Yeah.
But I only find myself laughing so much in Just One. I mean, occasionally when somebody comes up with an evil, you know, so when somebody like mixes up the same clue, there's a bit of laughter.
No.
But then you kind of have to sit there for a while they try to think for ages about what the word is and stuff.
It's just clever, really clever.
Yeah, it's clever, and same with Clover, similar deal. But
if you like Codenames, you should try Crosstalk. I've heard about it, and a group of people played it at the old club in Clumpton, but it was awful.
Yeah,
but then it turns out they were playing with the wrong rule, which kind of made the game not work at all.
I've played Crosstalk. It's okay. I mean, I don't think it like they're kind of on par with each other. Crosstalk and thing for me.
Paolo doesn't think Codenames is a party game, so I'm just going to delete him from the channel.
I don't think it's a party game. You're going to delete me from the stream? Go on. You're going to somehow blur the rest of it? Yeah. But
and yes, we were wrapping up an hour ago, except
it's not happening.
We got
it's not happening. Just One is great without illustrations. Still going? Yep, definitely. Decrypto.
I've not played it.
I don't think that's a party game.
Okay.
No. 4v4 is a team game. Well, actually, that's a lame excuse. But with Decrypto, it's a bit like the code name scene or something. It's like, here's a
Right.
clue word, the other people are trying to figure it out. It's a puzzle game, effectively.
Okay.
It's a puzzle game in teams. It's hard to tell what you consider a party game, though. That's the kind of thing, because people go say, because is Mysterium a party game?
Yes.
Because his party
Because it's
generates
easy
a
to
laugh.
teach.
Well, easy to teach
It's easy to
regardless. But
teach.
is it because you just have a big group of players?
It's a big group of players, and it's easy to teach, and it's suitable for families, and you have fun.
That could just be a family game with 8 players. I mean,
it's the lightness of the rules.
Is it?
It's the accessibility of the game.
Because is it the player count that makes it? In which case, is every 8 player like is Captain Sonar a party game? No, it's like just because it does 8 players.
It's got to be accessible and really simple rules.
But then Mysterium, I mean, I play it and I have a laugh, but a lot of that might just be down to, oh my god, what on earth is this ghost trying to tell us? And things like that. It's not like, something like the Time's Up or Balderdash and Telestrations where you just fall out of your chair laughing by default, or Detective Club and such. So this is why I've never done a top 10 party games list, because to do the definition of party games would drive me nuts.
Chris is in the chat. Hi, Chris. He's asking about the early Knizia games. I'm assuming this is going off.
Where is he?
Here.
There he is.
I'm assuming Chris is not talking about party games, because Modern Art, Medici, High Society, Tigris and Euphrates.
I was going to say,
definitely not party games.
I don't think they're even. Tigris and Euphrates can't do 6 players, so he's not logged on that.
No.
Oh, maybe he's talking about old games.
Yes. So I have played Modern Art, Medici. I don't think I've played High Society.
Modern Art, don't like. Medici, not played. High Society, it's fine.
Did
I give it
respect.
respect.
Redo that recently?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. High Society, I give respect to. I'm just not the biggest auction fan. Tigris and Euphrates, I have Yellow and Yanks, which I think is superior to it, but I'd play either or. But that's one that I still have.
That's one of the ones that I was playing when I started getting into gaming in the 98, 99. And Tigris and Euphrates used to be the #1 game on BGG when I started. I now don't like Tigris and Euphrates.
It can be swingy at times.
It's the drawing of the red tiles out of the bag. For me.
Yellow and Yanks mitigates it a little bit, but you still have a little bit of card drawing. Okay. I mean, I still find it the superior of the 2. But I read it a second ago. Yeah, sounds like there's a party versus casual thing. I mean, as I say, defining a party game could be subject. You could do a whole episode on
King
that.
Domino, not a party game.
Party game can play while drunk. I mean, you can play most games while drunk, whether successfully or not is another thing. Although, to be fair, I wouldn't want to try and play Codenames drunk.
I've seen it being played drunk a number of times.
But then, of course, the other thing is like, if you just say party is just a big group of players, then social deduction becomes filtering in there. It's like, Resistance and Deception, Murder in Hong Kong, I can play 12 players. It's a party game. It's like,
Wavelength, good party game.
That's a party game,
definitely. Yeah, Monica's, we talked about Time's Up. I think Monica's is just another name for Time's Up.
Yeah, I mean, party game could also be the banter between players. I mean, because a lot of those games would have banter. Again, another reason to like have code names in the back there. It's like, what banter? But Wavelength, I like it fine. Monikers, basically Time's Up. I prefer Time's Up for the title recall thing, because trying to guess a person is a nightmare if you don't know the person, but you can kind of break down a game, a film title. Modern, I don't think he was talking about Knizia's as party games.
No,
because I can't think of a single Knizia party game.
Maybe Chris is watching with like a 30-40 minute delay.
Knizia doesn't have parties. Knizia doesn't know the definition of party.
No, that's true.
It's like Knizia is there with the birthday cake in front of him, trying to do maths as to how to cut the cake. It's like that is a Knizia party.
Anyway, moving on. We're 2 hours 12 minutes in to a stream about Essen 2021, and we've drifted off and we've talked about everything
on the kitchen sink.
Yeah,
which confused you as we got into my house.
Yes.
He's confused.
Luke has the strangest.
The first thing he's asking is what everybody else has. Like,
I'll put the kettle on. There's no kettle.
Yeah, it's like, what kettle? Were you in 1965? It's like, this is back in the old days when you were a wee lad or something. It's because I've got a hot boiling tap. Like push it and it comes out as boiling water or something. So make my tea in seconds. But he doesn't know that, so he's asking me where the kettle is. And it's like the kitchen sink is flummoxed.
Very, very confused. Very confused. But yeah, we're going to wrap things up.
Yeah. To be fair, it's 5 to 12. I got work.
I don't. This feels to me like a good end to this series. I was going to do another one when I got home tomorrow. I don't think I need to.
Well, these are the best of your series because all your other ones were barely 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is definitely the longest one.
This is definitely not so much a vlogger.
But this definitely feels like the end of the Essen journey, even though I've got to get on a train and go home tomorrow.
Oh, maybe like feel bad. Don't go.
What?
Paolo, don't go.
But yeah,
could this be a thing? Marathon of just rambling about anything FB gaming related? Well, yeah, that works. That's what we do.
Yeah, we do. This is what we do the best, really. So yeah, so I will be back on Wednesday with the next episode in our Arkham Horror Living card game series, which is episode chapter 5 or 6. I think I can't remember exactly where we're up to. And then I won't be doing any live streams this Friday because I'll be playing Youth Theatre. So it will be a live stream, but only to patron supporters. And then that video will be taken down, slightly edited, and it will be re-uploaded as a proper video.
Yeah. Tomorrow is hopefully evening. If it's not tomorrow, it'll be Tuesday when I can do either a live stream or the podcast update, because I didn't do one on Sunday, obviously, for actually talking about Essen and nothing else. So it's like that one will be my personal Essen chat. Other than that, I guess wait for it, because I already scheduled everything during Essen that I already had pre-planned. Now the next thing has got to be, while learning that game, the next top 100. So 30 to 21, I'll record, get done, but God knows when that will come out. Like I say, I just got to find time to edit. Although, as I say, my calendar this week is a lot more bare than Paul's one.
Yeah. But that's everything. So just before we disappear, a huge thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. Both me and Luke run a Patreon campaign that funds the channel and basically allows us and helps us to make content like this. Luke's channel at Patreon is
Broken Meeple.
The Broken Meeple. Mine is obviously Gaming Rules. So if you are in a position to support us financially, that would be brilliant. But if you're just watching this video, obviously give the video a thumbs up. Leave us a comment if you're not watching this live.
Yeah, I know there's more than 48 people in the chat, so some of you aren't pulling your weight.
There's definitely. And yeah, just as I say, a huge thank you to everybody who was.
See what you can. Look at that. That is skyrocketing now. Come on, see, you just got to edge them along.
Edge them along.
Yeah, you got to nudge
them. Just a huge thank you to everybody who's been watching. When I did episode 1, I thought maybe 10 or 20 people would watch, and then there was like 150 people in the chat and 2,000 views afterwards. So that has given me the enthusiasm to carry on doing this series, and I think this is going to be a regular thing. It has meant I've had to take an hour out of my evening or go to bed an hour later, but it's been thoroughly worthwhile doing it. And there are things that I've talked about in my daily diaries that I would have forgotten by now. So those stories that I've shared about the lost credit card and all of the other stuff that's randomly happened, I would have just forgotten that. Well, I probably wouldn't have forgotten the lost credit card because I still don't have it. But you know, there's things like that, and we've had a good chat, and it's been really good, this little sort of 6-day journey. But yeah, for now, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Take care, and we will both see you next time.
See you next time.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
There we go.